I'm live. All right, we got a lot to cover. Welcome, I'm Rob. I'm your ordained reverend. Welcome to church. Everybody's welcome. Everybody. The needy, the hungry, the tired, the sick and tired, the exhausted, the overworked, the underpaid. It don't matter your religion, agnostic, atheist, Wiccan, mother goddess, Thoth, um, Greek. Uh, are there any other what are the Roman gods? I don't care. Greek gods, Roman gods, everybody welcome, okay? Everybody. Everybody, as my sister would say. Shout out to you, love you. Everybody, welcome. We have so much to cover. I think we all know why Donald Trump's smugly asking people to smile. It's because Jeff Epstein made him smile so much and so often until it all came to light. That's what we do here in church. We shine a light in the darkness. And that's what we're going to do tonight. And I got some wickedly wild audio from all the main players of the Epstein files. I mean, every main player. What's up? What's up, J66666? What's up? How are you? How are you? It's a late one tonight. It's a late church. Welcome to church, everybody. Oh, there we go. Crush Dice. What is up, Crush? Go check out Crush's channel. She's amazing photographer. Crush, put together a calendar. The snow sun. The winter sun calendar. For those moments in the summer where you just want to feel a touch depressed. Okay, before we get into church, as you know, in every church, they play music. In my church, we play fucking rad music. This is Bunkbed Coffin. Link in the description. Local artist. I call him a local artist because local to YouTube in the virtual space. I've always called YouTube the public access TV channel of the internet, which I adore and I love as a public access TV member. This is Bunkbed Coffin, appropriately named original song, Time Won't Heal. Welcome to church. I'm Rob. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, because tonight we're getting into it. Welcome everybody, I'm Rob. Welcome to church. Start with a little music, and then we're going to get to a reading from the book of X before we get to tonight's news. This is Bunkbed Coffin. Go subscribe, link in the description. Bunkbed Coffin. We're going to get into the news. Welcome to church. I'm your ordained Reverend Rob. And I bless the hell out of you. You won't see that at Joel Osteen's church, I'll tell you what. He'll take your money, though. The news I have for you tonight is some of the most gaslighting news I've heard this week. You have to say this week at this point with this regime. What's up, Jay? Shout out Wisconsin. Where you guys from? Drop it in the comments. This is Bunkbed Coffin. Link in the description. Support local art. Support real art. This is not your Joe Rogan Epstein friend program. All right? It's just not. We don't support AI music here. We support the real artists with a soul. Thank you, Bunky. Love your music. Love your music so much. All right, guys. All right, guys. North Jersey. North Jersey. Love North Jersey. Listen, even though I make fun of Jersey, dirty Jers, don't ever get stuck in a traffic jam in the midst of summer, because if you're driving from Staten Island into Jersey, there are so many landfills. It is, ooh, I do love Jers. Memories growing up, you know, going to the shore and abouts. I love my Jersey folks. I do. I give you guys a hard time because I love you. And Wisconsin, never been there, but heard you got a lot of cheese. Oh, Sweden in the house. Burzum guy here from Sweden. I knew it was Sweden. ILY, the illy, illy, illy. Thank you, Crush, for the high five. Ooh, and a marshmallow. Marshmallow high. I like that. I like that hand. ILY, how you doing? What is it? Close to 1 in the morning, man. How's Sweden life? That's what I want to know. I love our family from across the world. Sweden has a lot to teach us, folks. A lot to teach us. We have a lot to learn from the Swedes. Plus, I heard their military carries machine guns on skis, which I don't know. That's the most badass thing I've ever heard in my life. All right, listen. I'm Rob, former addict, orphan, former homeless person, hater of work, wanter of robots to take our jobs so we can create art, lover of free healthcare paid for by billionaires' taxes, advocate for a 3-day work week, and that's a bit much. You know, it should be 15 hours, but if we could spread that over 3 days, 5 hours a day, 3-day work week. I believe you exist here on this earth for more than work to define you. Just so you understand what this church is about. This is church. We are here to imbue the people with the power, have the power go back to the people. Not these not these creeps. These pea creeps. I gotta be careful the language. But not these creeps that are in power right now. The ones that are saying they're going to have ICE guard the polls. Did you hear that today? Did you hear Steve Bannon say they're going to have ICE guard your polling stations? And if you're in a red state, don't worry. You were probably stupid enough to vote for Trump twice. And it didn't matter. They already had your elections fixed. But we're talking probably blue states. The educated states. Steve Bannon, even though he's a Harvard alum, wants his power. Not by democracy, folks. I'm going to play that audio for you. I also have Sweden is. It was good in the 90s, but in 2010s it got bad. They removed all good places, much forest removed, and so many of my childhood places are gone. But life is okay, I guess. That's still good that life is okay. Social phobia, so I really go out. I get it, man. I get it. I love people. I hate crowds. But people one-on-one are amazing. Amazing. Interesting, Interesting people. And if you don't believe me, go look up Salvador Dali. Interesting dude. Governors are already preparing for the election day, making sure elections are safe for all citizens, and which they should be. I don't know what we got to do to eradicate ICE. What do we do? Get ice melt and salt them? I don't know how we get rid of these motherfuckers, but thank you, ILY. Illy. Can I just call you Illy? Because that's a cool ass name. I hate hearing of the deforesting because, it's ancient and sacred. We also do worship the ancient sacred forests here in this church. Get the Second Amendment ready. Jess, I fucking love you. Get the Second Amendment ready. I think that's what we're gonna say on the channel from here on out. Hey, everybody, get your Second Amendment ready. Hot lead tends to melt things. You're killing me right now, Jess. Okay, so I am Rob. Before we open church and get into the news, because this is really what church should be. What I'm doing is I'm giving you, well, actually, this I do have a church, the Church of Radical Communion. Um, and I think church should be empowering people and not just asking for tithing. If you feel free to tithe, listen, I'm not going to stop you. Times are hard. We all need to afford egg. So I won't ever stop you from tithing. And I am directly supported from viewers like you. In fact, it's almost daily. I have to fight YouTube to get my shit monetized. Incredible. All I'm doing is tamer tamer commentary than Fox News does. You know, I'm not sitting here screaming like Tim Pool saying, you know, the green M&M's trying to make your dog read a Marxist book so all your kids turn gay. I ain't saying that, okay? There's no culture war, folks. There's only a class war. And what I aim to do is empower you with the word of my God. Doesn't have to be your God. Doesn't have to be. Let me make that clear. At the time of Christ, there were no Christians. He just loved everybody. That's fucking crazy, right? Some of you Catholics, Protestants, evangelicals, Book of Mormonans, the Latter-day Sainters, hopefully there's no Davidians left. But some of you may be shocked and appalled at the words I say, but I just read the red. I just read what Jesus said. So I'm here to welcome all and just empower you with the knowledge. So before we get into the news, let's have a reading from the book of X, DMX. They say this is one of his final public prayers, and it goes fast, so pay close attention. Hopefully my video doesn't get flagged on this one. Please. Can I speed it up? Hold on. I can't speed it up. All right, we're just gonna try. I think it's too important to not do this. So if I gotta fight YouTube and edit my videos, I will, because I think DMX, reading from the book of X, DMX's prayers are so vital in these trying times. He really speaks to the heart of God and to the heart of man. Here's a reading from the book of X.
Dear Lord, I need to be rescued. No one can get done except you. Please tell me to test this through. I did my best too, as I could, as I should. Knock on wood, that I'm good, that I'm hood. But he knows my heart. And what grows from the start glows in the dark. Knows from the start I was chose for this part. When you smart, all the way back, but knows from the bark. Rose from the dark, caught a glimpse of the light. Now I can't live without it, man. This ain't right. So I'm gonna give it to Jesus, because it ain't my fight. I wanna make it to the light, please make it all right. And ain't nobody but you taking my life, cause I know not many do make it through the fight, but there's still a many who walk with your grace, cause I know of plenty who walk with your face in the minds and the hearts, with the word on the lips, but still straight from the hurt. You heard how it gets, cause the word is a gift that'll break in the yoke strong, hold the bond down to a third of its strength. When you figure the name of Jesus, you're free indeed. Or you need faith the size of a mustard seed. Dear Lord.
Amazing, amazing. DMX. If you've never heard his prayers, just pick up any of his albums. He prays in all of them. Little tip for you. All right. Did we start with yesterday's news that I didn't cover? Because I'm so anti-rich people telling working people, guys, you're just not working hard enough. You know, like, I'm so sick of it. I can't take it anymore. I almost don't want to cover it because I'm like, I know this has been going on for 50, 60, 70 years. You know, as soon as the boomers got their hands on some generational wealth, they turned around, kicked the ladder out, and were like, guys, you know what your problem is? You like avocado. And it's like, oh, is that how you bought a house back in 1952? You saved your avocado money? Do you think there's something wrong with that, you motherfucker? But Dr. Oz was, you know, beating that old dead horse of you're just not working enough. Retirement. Why retire when you could own a home at 90? And that's what Dr. Oz was saying. And I just went, I don't want to do this. I don't. But there's so many people covering it. I'm like, okay, I'll give you my take. Okay. Invest. Oh, there's an adorable little moron. Look at him. He thinks it's investing. That's it. Yeah, everybody, buy butt coins or whatever. Buy your butt coins, folks, and then you can own a home. Just hope that they don't pull the rug out on the stock market like they did the beginning of last year. What was it this time last year where a bunch of people decimated their 401ks? Yeah, that's solid fucking moron advice. That's a Trump voter right there. He's like, hey, listen, as long as you're paying attention to all the Truth Social feeds, and when Donald Trump says good time to buy, you put all of your life savings and pray that it's not a rug pull. Okay, that's adorable. You should look up Jim Cramer, who does the Mad Money show. Or maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll teach you why investing is a joke. We got news to do. I don't want articles about it. I want the video. Is this the video? This is not the video. Okay. I'm not gonna search. Is this it? Video unavailable. I found the video, but it's no longer available. Oh, okay. Just look up Jim Cramer, how he manipulated the markets as a hedge fund manager. Okay. Oh my God. You know what? The other thing, we're going to get to the Epstein files. We're going to. Because Trump is one of the worst offenders in it. I mean, if he was any other party, you know, Democrat, Independent, Green, Rainbow, he'd be in prison. But because he has this sycophantic cult base that is like doing everything, they'll be like, listen, I went through the Epstein files. I saw the allegations, but there's this one email that isn't redacted that says, Jeff said he's a swell guy and really hates the things he's doing and wishes he would stop. And these sycophants are like, so? You have to ignore everything else because this one email that might just be put there for you to believe really exonerates him. It's so amazing. These are the fucking QAnon people. Oh, by the way, before we start tonight, the message of tonight's service, welcome to church, I'm Rob, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, is Jesus's words where he says, so then, in everything, treat others the same way you want them to treat you, for this is the law and the writings of the prophets. Treat others how you want to be treated. It's interesting. Just remember that. Everybody starts, when these maggots, M-A-G-A-T-S, start cheering on ICE, okay? Just remember that. These aren't my words. Again, this is what Jesus says. So treat others the way you want them to treat you. So remember that. So when people start saying, yeah, good for ICE, you say, you want them to kick in your door and pepper spray you right in the mouth? Or maybe up your butt? I don't know what you prefer. You're a fan of the Epstein files? Remember that when they start defending the Epstein files, okay? Again, Jesus's words, not mine. Not mine. Jesus says, and the reason I teach you this here at church, I'm Reverend Rob, I'm your official vibe coach too, is I teach you this so in these MAGAs who have that cross that's probably burning a red mark into their chest, when they start barking about how they love ICE and Donald Trump is totally fine in my book, just remember, that's how they want to be treated. Kind of makes sense. Sickos. Where is the meme? It's kind of funny how the QAnon folks finally got a real life cabal made up of the world's most powerful people, and they can't even celebrate it because one of them is their president. This is all they've wanted for years, guys. 4 years. 4 years. They even had their own shaman to do a cabal dance, you know? He was like, come on. He was doing an ancient cabal dance, hoping for it to rain. I can't say that joke. And And they finally got it. But because the guy that they worship, that they made their whole personality around, who they wait for Donald to speak, and he's like the mama bird, regurgitating worms and vomit into their mouths so they know what to say, so they don't offend him, so they don't get called a liberal. They can't even celebrate the thing that they've been praying and hoping for, and doing mass crimes and being pardoned for those crimes and doing all this stuff for. They can't even celebrate that they finally got the sadistic cabal of elite, coastal elite people that they've been, harping on because they wanted to protect the children. And now they have to pretend like it doesn't matter. It's pathetic, man. That was like your one life goal, guys. MAGA. It was like the whole thing. You guys had bumper stickers like K your local PDF, right above a Trump sticker. And it turns out that is the most ironic pairing ever. Oh, I feel bad for him. Doing all that work, reading through all the heinous allegations of Donald Trump, only to get to one sentence where they're like, oh, Jeff said he was a pretty decent dude. Guess that's exonerating. No wonder you're not a lawyer. Okay, we have some stuff to go over. Here is Dr. Oz. I'm going to give you my thoughts on anybody who tells you to work more or harder. No. You're exploited. You're overworked, underpaid. While Congress has given them 2 or 3 raises, the minimum wage federally hasn't moved from $7.25 since 2009. And you hear this propaganda spewed out by the media outlets and the news organizations who are owned by the wealthiest people in the world, tell you that it's because you bought a new iPhone. That thing you need in society? Yeah, that's the reason. But when we want to tax them so we can have like healthcare and less potholes, all of a sudden they have to flee town and can't afford it. And let me just say, if you can't afford a 4% tax on $1 million on income over $1 million, maybe you're living outside of your means. And we start throwing that shit back in their face, okay? I'm Rob. Hit subscribe. Welcome to church. This is Sheila Zolnoor. Link in the description. Celebrate diversity, 100%. We're going to play Sheila in a minute. We will. We're going to play Sheila. I love Sheila. Do I have a screenshot? No, I didn't take a screenshot of Sheila. Love Sheila. But let me tell you something. The Bible advises respect for the government. You fucking nerd. Jesus was murked by the government. Why don't you read the Jesus parts? I'm so sick of people coming in here being like, listen, man, there's parts where it says you should just respect the rulers that were ordained by God, and Jesus was killed by them. Okay, here we talk about what Jesus really said. So if you can't handle this, trigger warning for all the maggots. This is not going to conform to your bubble that you've put yourself in of life. I'm not your local pastor at a church who really needs butts in the seats so he can get that tithe money so he could do his sweet, sweet perversions or whatever he does. I don't know. No, I'm here to empower you with words. And that's it. I'm also here to tell you, who gives a shit if you have a job? I don't. It doesn't define who you are. I've never fucking went to Kmart and was like, oh, this person is just Kmart. That's it. Kmart doesn't exist anymore, sorry. What would it be? Sears. Oh, shit, Sears does. Bradley's. Woolworths. Fuck. What happened to all these Toys R Us? I don't go to Oh, don't even tell me. Yeah, that's gone too. Oh, remember when we had a freer market? Remember those days? So, yeah, your work is not your worth. That's another thing. Jesus wasn't like, I only redeem the people who have worked 60 hours this week. That's just not in the Bible. He doesn't give a shit. He did not go to the beggars who are blind and lame and be like, damn, dude, I would love to heal you because I got magic fingers that can like fucking do whatever. You could touch my robe and be healed. But you're just not working hard enough. Are you begging for money? Get out. Right, I'm healing that. Gross, get away from me. So anytime you see some Christian act like that shit, just know they're fucking going to hell. Thanks be the word of God. In Jesus' name, bless the hell out of you. and celebrate diversity. This guy is full of himself. Why, thank you. Why, thank you. Thank you. Why, thank you. Small dick loser. What's up, Sunshine? Good to see you. Eggy Rose, good to see you. All right. Hell yeah. Nurses like me have 2 jobs to make ends meet. And that's a common thing. I remember when the country clapped for nurses and they were like, oh, first responder, our heroes, essential workers. And then they were like, get back to having 2 jobs so you can barely afford rent. And I say, fuck this whole system. When institutions fail, which this one has, there's creeps at the top. You know, I'm calling them crapers. CHRAPER. It's a mashup of 2 words, so that way, you know, I can say it. I don't know how else to put it. These crapers are at the top. Crapers. And I reject this whole goddamn system. And you should too. Anybody who has to work more than 40 hours a week, no, more than 32 hours a week to eat and stay warm in the winter, the system has failed you. You shouldn't have to. Don't ever listen to someone telling you work harder, work longer, work more. You're just not doing enough. Doing enough to what? Not die? Get the fuck out of here. Here is Sheila Zolnoor, link in the description, with Dr. Oz telling you just that.
You get the average American, because they feel healthy, they're vital, they're strong, they have agency over their future, to start working a year earlier, right out of high school, or work a year.
That makes me want a slap-a-hoe so bad. And that's not a bad word. I think that's an ancient native language. I think that's indigenous. Awana slap-a-hoe. I think I went to school with him. Awana slap-a-hoe. Anyways, he just reminded me of Dr. Oz right there, because I want to slap a hoe is really how I feel about Dr. Oz right there. Because get out of high school and just start working. So they're actively encouraging you to be dumber. America, land of the dumb, home of the stupid. I don't even know what our saying is anymore, because it's definitely not free and brave. You should hear all the bootlickers saying, just obey or get murked in the street. And you should hear all the bootlickers saying, you're not free to regulate your own body. You're not free to be who you are. You're not free to express yourself. So land of free and brave really isn't our thing. It's more of a like land of, I want to bitch and moan about things. Anything that's different than I, even though I like going out to eat at different ethnic places, or I really appreciate music that, you know, wasn't made by someone who looks exactly like me. It's just intolerable. These people are insufferable. But if Dr. Oz, if anybody, okay, I got to put the vibe coach hat on. If anybody in this world tells you to get stupider, think of my friend, my indigenous friend, Ivana Slapaho. He was amazing. And he would beat the shit out of knuckleheads like this.
Later, not retire, or work better during their lifetime because they're healthy, it would generate about $3 trillion. $3 trillion.
Oh, for who? For who, Dr. Oz? Did you hear that? If they just worked longer, started earlier, forget college, guys. That's unaffordable and you're too stupid anyways. But if you just quit high school and start working like Tim Pool, you know, but a real job. Isn't that right? All my people in the comments tell me to get a real job. There we go. Oh, look, an on point AD. What a nerd. I predicted you. Isn't that sad and pathetic? You are just a weakling. That's all you are. You have no thought whatsoever. I just said someone's going to say, get a job. And look, there you are right after I said it. Oh my God. What a pathetic loser. Everybody boo that man. Just a reminder, because people can do live streams don't mean they don't work, dummy. Oh, Sunshine, I love you. Thank you. Yeah, it's okay. You can't explain, you know, basic concepts of common sense to morons. They don't understand that. Never mind the fact that I've been up since 7 o'clock, and I do this because of the love. I do this because I want to be on records that these motherfuckers were criminal to America, that they're anti-American, they're modern day Confederates, or in revolutionary terms, they're redcoats. But now they're just red hats. You don't believe me? These are red hats. They literally are red hats. There they are. We used to have redcoats that were loyal to a crown back in 1775 for few years until we chased them off. Now they just came back in red hat form. So they lost the red coat and they took up the hat. And I just want to be on record saying, fuck you guys. Okay? Your ordained reverend here on the internet says, fuck you, MAGA. In the name of Jesus. Okay? Understand me? Oh, wait a minute. And you go, oh, that's not very Jesus. No. It's actually completely. Treat others the way you want them to treat you. Okay? Or we could go one better. Remember, the red is Jesus. No one has greater love than to lay down his life for his friends. Sounds a lot like Minnesota to me, and not those fucking immigration chodes. I'm talking about the people who have laid down their lives for not just friends, but strangers. I would say that's the most Christly thing you could do. I bless this message. So I just want to be on record, saying this. Just like you could go back and watch my old videos and be like, oh man, this guy has really been harping on this for a while. And people used to think he was crazy. Well, and here we are. It's okay. It's okay. You'll catch up. Or you know what? Maybe AD, you won't catch up. You won't, but it's okay. I like that New York is still in here. Just like in the Revolutionary. Zen Ali, good to see you. Sounds like a fearless motherly lover to me. Well, Zen Ali, let me just say this. New York, AD, you're on YouTube. You can upload your own videos, but I say you're chicken shit and you won't do it. You won't put your face to what your beliefs are. I will, and I do it every day, every weekday. Come and join me. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Every single weekday. I will put my beliefs with my face on the internet, and you chicken shits won't. So, stay in my comments and keep boosting me for the algorithm. I appreciate it. Hold on. Oh, man. The French response to Elon Musk is amazing. We're going to get to that. Here we go. So Dr. Oz tells you... Hold on. Let's rewind this a little bit.
About $3 trillion.
Okay, hold on. We're listening to Dr. Oz tell you just work, longer. And then this is how I want to watch the media with you. Because, the media does a disservice when they allow this dude to just say this shit uninterrupted. What they should be doing, what proper journalism looks like, is you interrupt him and go, $3 trillion for who, Dr. Oz? Is that going to the people? Or is that lining this poopy pants' pockets?
Or work a year later, not retire, or work better during their lifetime because they're healthy.
Work a year later or not retire. You understand all these people are not only in the Epstein files, but they don't work. This isn't work, Dr. Oz. Telling people to work is not work. Elon Musk put a video game system when he was in the White House, unelected, but, bought his way in. He was posting videos and photos of a video game in his office. And I'm like, who's doing that? Who's I work so hard, I'm CEO of this many companies, and I play video games while I'm in the White House. It's have you ever played video games? Let me just explain something to you. As somebody who's played video games, you can't just play a little video game. You just can't do that. That doesn't exist. You're tied up for an hour, at least. And depending on the game, you could go all night. You'd be screaming at kids, being like, what the fuck is that? You know what I mean? That's not how video games work. I'm sorry. You don't do a touch of video games. They are more addictive than heroin, man. You don't just sprinkle in a little video games. I just want to taste. I just want to taste this. No, you're gone. It sucks your soul in. Why do you think America's not doing a revolution right now? Because the internet's on, It's they got Plants vs. Zombies or whatever the fuck they're playing. I don't know. What's the new thing? Angry Birds? I don't know. What are you guys playing? Candy Crush? What's the hottest game out there? Tic-tac-toe? What was that? Words with Friend? Wordle? What are you guys doing? Anyways, so Dr. Oz just said, don't retire. Why don't you just not retire? Let me break it down for the dummies in the audience. Dr. Oz is saying, wouldn't it just be nice to go into work and pass away? MAGA. I know you're going to agree with this. Wouldn't it just be beautiful? Because, you know, your family doesn't like you or you probably don't have friends. Wouldn't it just be amazing if you just went into work so much that you just died there? Isn't that truly the American dream? I want you to think about that. Isn't that truly the American dream? If you could just go into work and just pass away there. You know, isn't that really the American dream? Is Dr. Oz talking to the working class or is he talking to somebody else? I don't know. Anyways. According to the New Yorker, and that's not very trustable, that's an elitist magazine, the Trump family has made $4 billion off the presidency during 2025, mostly from shady crypto schemes. That's over 450,000 per hour. I love, thank you, Zen. So while Donald Trump's scamming people and selling, like we played yesterday, selling national secrets for crypto investments, making $450,000 an hour, you, my friend, are severely underpaid. Even if you're like, I make $50 an hour. Did you hear what I just said, stupid? The president's making $450,000 an hour from selling our national secrets. There's no defending that. Remember when everybody was mad that Hunter Biden was like selling artwork or something? Listen, I'm old enough to remember when people were like, man, cashing in on the presidency, you write a book and you make $1 million. And now it's like, oh, they're just cashing in while they're there. I'm old enough to remember at the beginning of his second term when he flew Air Force One to Scotland to open up a Trump golf course, which highly illegal, you know. But I mean, that's the least of the crimes. So Dr. Oz is essentially just saying, guys, you just quit, don't go to high school, just start working. We're trying to open the coal mines so you guys could get, 5 years old, get packed cigarettes, get in those mines. You're small enough to get those little hands picking that coal. And then you just don't ever retire. This is not my words. This is Dr. Oz's words. Of course, he doesn't believe that for himself, if he knew his wealth. But he wants you to think that's all. But the key to this statement by Dr. Oz is at the end.
Not retire or work better during their lifetime because they're healthy. It would generate about $3 trillion. $3 trillion to the U.S. economy. That would more than remove the debt. It would provide us unbelievable strength because the taxes on that $3 trillion would allow us to keep Medicare Part A solvent, make a trust fund. It would allow us to make social.
Did he just say make a trust? Guys, they took Medicare away. So what he's saying is if everybody would just not retire and quit school, just work all the time, it would generate $3 trillion. And with that money, I know we gave tax breaks to the uber wealthy elites. But if you guys just would not retire, that would generate the money we need to give you that health care. Is that carrot dangling hard enough for you? Right. That $3 trillion. I'm sure you'll see health care once you don't retire. You won't need it. You'll be dead on the floor at your work. But hey, here's to hoping. Is this the country you believe in? Holy shit. I feel bad for you. Let's let Sheila cover this.
Social Security, healthcare, tremendous downstream benefits. But to do that, you actually have to invest in making sure people want to work the extra year.
Yeah, so it falls on you. If you just put your kids to work a little earlier and you commit to not retiring, and we promise to use your tax dollars for their intended use, for your benefit. We promise. We know that we haven't been using your tax dollars for Medicare and Social Security, and we keep threatening you with taking it away, and your rights and your benefits are constantly hanging in the balance while we fund just about everything else, and we increase the funding for everything that you hate and that you don't want. We promise that if you just commit to putting your kids to work earlier, maybe even while they're in elementary school, fuck it.
Hey, listen, I said, why do you think they're trying to bring back coal? Adults might be too big to get in those coal mines. Those coal miners are old. They might need the children. That's why Republican states are rolling back labor laws.
And you commit to never retiring, okay? I promise you, this time we will be responsible stewards of your money.
I love Sheila. Go subscribe to Sheila. Link in the description. Edward, Trump using national assets for his own personal business is the least of our worries. It is. This is the Steve Bannon, just throw everything at the wall and let them sort it out, is, peak, like, to me, it's just peak MAGA Law and Order yelling, We want law and order. Really? 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 Law and Order? Which one? which one? Here, this is important to play because some audio is questionable. But did you guys hear Donald Trump's health is declining? But let's be honest, it's been declining since birth. Wordle. Wordle. We don't use slurs in here. Leaves you shitty. Oh, thank you, Edward. Yeah. Listen, if you're going to be a hate mongerer, go to Tim Pool's podcast. I'm sure he'll, welcome you with open arms. Or go to the Fox News comments, We're just, we're not about that. In the kindest way possible. Don't make me say, fuck you, because I will. I'll use that bad language. I'll speak like a president. Actually, I won't speak like a president, because if you've ever heard this dude speak, have you ever heard Donald Trump speak? I feel like MAGA maybe hasn't, because anybody who says they move like a bitch, how do you support that? How do you support that, How do you support that? For real. Ooh, I do have the more you know thing. Here.
I moved on her like a bitch. I couldn't get there.
This was years ago, where Donald Trump claims to move like a bitch. He's describing himself. That's embarrassing. It's amazing these people think he's anything besides, a fucking loser. See, I even do PSAs for all you older millennials, for the elder millennials. I do PSAs.
It wasn't the brain because I took a cognitive test.
And I aced
I got
it.
a perfect mark.
You got a perfect mark on the dementia exam, buddy? Okay, good for you. Did they give you a fucking star sticker at the doctor, too? Did they give you a Doctor Peace Prize? Loser. All right, this is Donald Trump when being asked about the Epstein files. Let me show you what his face looks like during this. Just a gem of a man, Listen, I want everybody to do a thought experiment with me. I want you to close your eyes, and I'm going to say, I want you to think of an alpha male. I want you to think of an alpha male, okay? Whatever that conjures in your brain, I don't care. There's no wrong answer, okay? But the word alpha specifically, because that's the name of Joe Rogan's supplements. I'm not kidding. He's the least creative person on fucking earth. No wonder he loves AI. Because he just called his supplements alpha and sold them to these fucking rubes. But I want you to close your eyes and imagine an alpha male, okay? Is everybody doing it? Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, and now I want you to open your eyes. Is this what you imagine? Is this what you imagined when I said alpha male? The guy who looks like they just got his order wrong at Chili's and is too embarrassed to ask for the waitress. Oh my God. Hold on. Who said what's up? What's up, Large Taco? Good to see you. Trump is the Steven Seagal of Poland. But at least Steven Seagal, as a rotund man, could still like drink water and walk upstairs. Like, have you ever seen him drink water? I can't wait. Listen, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, please, because I gotta make this full time so I could do like the Joe Rogan, hey Cameron, or whatever the producer's name is. I'll just have a fake producer and I'll play that role too. So I could bring stuff up on screen, because I would really love to show you how he drinks water. He's like, hold on, he couldn't even pick up a cup this big, okay? But he's like, it's like it's like you tried to hand a penguin a fucking cup, They're like, I don't even think a penguin could pick up a cup, but that's what he reminds me of, like a penguin trying to pick up a cup. You're like, oh God, this is embarrassing. So this is Caitlin Collins, a reporter, asking about justice for the Epstein survivors. And if you haven't heard his response, buckle up, Buttercup, because this is unreal.
To get onto something else, really. Now that nothing came out about me, other than there was a conspiracy against me, literally, by Epstein and other people.
Just one question: did you involve yourself in the conspiracy when you said, hold on, let me see. I know I have Donald Trump's quote. Let me just see real quick. Let me put my head in front of this image. Quote, I've known Jeff for 15 years, terrific guy, a lot of fun to be with. The quote goes on and continues saying, I heard he likes girls almost as much as I do, just on the younger side. Very inappropriate photo right there of Jeff Epstein, so I'm trying to keep that out of the view. But Donald, were you part of the conspiracy? The conspiracy against you being best friends with Jeff Epstein. Interesting. Let's hear him say that again, and let's just think of his quotes in the early 2000s in magazines. He did voluntarily, bragging about his friendship with Jeff Epstein. And then let's try to make this make sense. Let's circle the dots, square the circles. Let's tic-tac-toe it. I don't know what the kids say, but they're all saying it.
There's a conspiracy against me, literally, by Epstein and other people. But I think
would other people be you, sir?
it's time now for the country to maybe get onto something else.
Guys, I know this is the largest cabal of the most wealthiest elites ever in the history of this planet. I don't know if dinosaurs had money. I know Jesus didn't carry cash. But unless dinosaurs somehow structured a monetary system, we're witnessing the most corrupt and filthy wealthy off of our tax money elitists ever. And I know it's a cabal of traffickers, and Bill Gates gets an STD and just trying to like secretly give his wife at the time, now ex-wife, antibiotics, and there's all sorts of stuff about Pete Elon, begging to go to the island on Christmas Day, no less, like emailing him on Christmas Day. Hey Jeff, what's good, man? But that's just water under the bridge, right, guys? I mean, that is boring. It's not like people like Love Island or Real Housewives, or America's not based on this juicy goss. We're very PBS oriented here, and we just want to know what the next thing is. We've read all those. Boring. What the fuck is going on? This is the president should not be the stupidest motherfucker on earth, And if you're buying this hook, line, and sinker, if you're one of the people that's just like, you know what, yeah, the whole Bill Gates stuff and Richard Branson and Pete Elon Musk and, all these guys and, the Harvard professors that are saying, did you torture her? Like, what the fuck? Who? Is anybody buying this? Let me see in the comments. We should write your name down. Why is nobody actively pursuing these people? Because the FBI is run by a guy named Cash App Patel. That's not even a joke. His name is Cash App. Everybody calls him Cash, but a long time ago I learned his full name is Cash App. Holy shit, his parents named him after an app. They probably didn't, but it's a funny joke. If Daddy just said, I love you, son, more, wouldn't you act this way? Oh, God bless you. The thing is people that usually say God bless you don't live by Jesus's words, where he's like, hey, treat others the same way you want them to treat you. So Donald Trump isn't doing that. Let me just prove the point. Let's continue on.
What do you say to people
Like
who feel like they haven't gotten justice, Mr. President?
Something.
What do you say to
maybe get
people?
onto.
Listen to the reporter in the background. What do you say to the people who want justice? Or as MAGA puts it, law and order.
Something else.
What would you say to people who
like
feel like they haven't gotten
healthcare,
justice, Mr. President?
something that people care about. What do you say? Go ahead.
What would you say to the survivors who feel like they have gotten
You are the worst.
She says, what would you to say, because the president, is easily inflamed and a fucking Karen, like a whole fascist tier, sensitive, fragile Karen. That's what the president, what you're hearing right now is he's like, what did you say? And she's like, well, what do you say to the people that are saying the Epstein survivors haven't gotten justice? And the whole time he's talking over her because, you know, words threaten him. He's a thin-skinned bitch. Because anybody else would be like, I'm sorry, what? I missed that. I was speaking. Why don't you go? That's how you handle that. Because if you can't hear somebody, let me just replay this, and I'll make some. I'll do the color analysis. If you can't hear somebody and then say, "What did you say?" and keep talking, you still can't fucking hear them, dummy.
Mr. President.
Something that people care about. Yeah, what do you say? Go ahead.
What would you say to the survivors?
You are the worst reporter.
What did you say? I couldn't hear you. Oh, excuse me, sir. Oh, you know what? You're the worst report. Like, guys, you hear this, right? I know the non-maggots do, but I'm saying MAGA. You do hear this, right? What did you say? Let me just talk over you and say you're the worst thing ever. But this isn't even the shocking stuff. This is just the stuff I like to point out. More importantly, let me go to the press office or the White House. Why is nobody next to her being like, if you can't hear her, why don't you shut your fat flappers? Why don't you shut your sauce box? How about you shut that fucking lip of yours? You said you couldn't hear her? I'm pretty sure if you're talking, you can't hear shit. Why don't you shut up? Why is nobody saying this? Why? He doesn't respect the presidency and you want us to? You're kidding, right? He just opened with, you know, I think the Epstein thing is pretty boring. Turns out big conspiracy and we should all move on. Like at that point, you're like, okay, right. Do you want us to respect you? Okay, that's interesting. But how come none of these motherfuckers next to her are like, Sir President, Madam President, why isn't anybody, hold on, let me get the picture. I'll act it out for you. Oh, what's up, Tia Fireball? What's up, Tia? Large taco visit me. I'm sorry, I may have misinterpreted one comment. That's okay. Make sure that not insulting the host. That's okay. Listen, we all make mistakes. Large taco is a friend. Sometimes, let me also say, sometimes sarcasm is very hard to pick up in words. I have a life experience of that. I've always said we need a sarcasm font. We need a sarcasm font. Can AI give us that? You know, can AI do anything productive? No, because they can't create new shit. So until we figure out a sarcasm font, we're all fucked. You know, that's really the downfall of humanity. Because imagine the Epstein files, everything sarcasm font. No, I'm just kidding. Don't give MAGA any ideas. They'll latch on to anything. Pink Fur, what's up? Senior Iron One. I'm still waiting on being able to afford egg. We all are. We all want to afford egg, man. We keep putting those pennies together and hoping that, you know, one day we get that juicy egg. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's making $450,000 an hour off bribes and selling national secrets. Anyways, why is nobody in this White House press corps saying, excuse me, sir, I know you're interrupting her because she's a woman and you have no respect for anybody. But if you can't hear something, why the fuck are you still talking? I don't know. This is just basic 101 common sense, aka shit you teach your kids. Like, oh, really? You can't hear? Maybe stop yelling? I don't know. God gave you 2 ears, 1 mouth. Shut the fuck up. You know, why is nobody else standing up to him? He's a bully. As soon as you do that, he'd fucking shrivel back up into Epstein's butthole. Let's continue with this audio. This is why I have to do the news. Welcome to church. I'm Rob. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Yes, I'm an ordained reverend, and bam, I bless the hell out of you. No preachers are doing that, and that's a good thing. Bless the hell out of you. I'm blessing the hell right out of you. I can't do it to everybody. MAGA, there's no hope for you. No hope for you. Once you start putting on that red hat, it seeps your soul right out of your body. Sorry, that's just spiritual. That's just spiritual warfare shit, man. Put that hat on, and all of a sudden you forget all the teachings of Christ, like love people, unselfishly love people, no asterisks on who you're supposed to love. Jesus even said, love your enemies, you fucking dummies. That means blue states. Let me speak in dumb Cro-Magnon, knuckle dragging maggot. Blue state, enemy? Jesus said love. Okay, you fucking idiots. So let's go back. Donald Trump, let me take you play by play in the stupidest man in the world. Remember those commercials? The most interesting man in the world, Joseph Keys. I did some parodies of those, and they were a fucking hit. I did the fattest man in the world for the guy I was working for because he was fat and very rich and entitled and privileged, and racist. He was racist, made national news for being a racist piece of shit. And I was trying to call it out years before, you know? Being a leftist, you're considered crazy because you're right too early. Anyways, so let me take you into the mind of the stupidest man in the world. He interrupts a reporter, not because he can't hear her, because he's thin-skinned and a bitch. He's bitch made, as my buddy, my old roommate from Texas used to say. He's bitch made. Knocked a guy out in Jack in the Box too. Guy was acting up. My roommate just knocked him out cold, and people cheered. Anyways, sorry. Enough about my personal life. The stupidest man in the world, who also, like, 17% of the Republican Party voted for, and then I just can't believe these fucking morons. They're so stupid. If this is your leader, you're the dumbest fucking person on earth. Oh my God. Please leave America. Sorry. So I'm going to take you to the mind of the stupidest man in the world. Here, he's doing a press thing where people can ask him questions. Right, I'm sure. This is why he likes doing the regime meetings where everyone has to be like, and sir, today was the greatest day in American history, sir. And you know what, sir? Every day that you're here is just the greatest of my life. I've seen many child born of mine, but I would give them all to you and your best friend Epstein. And no problem, sir. You know, like he likes that. If you have to ask him anything at all, he's the most sensitive, safe space needing fucking Karen there ever was. Like I said, he's bitch made. So now that you understand that, when he starts to say, I'm sorry, what was that? I can't hear you, and then continues to talk over her, it's because he doesn't mean what he says, ever. He never means what he says. What he's trying to say is like, that question scares me. Here's the loose interpretation. I'll do the play-by-play.
You to maybe get onto something else.
Yeah, let's maybe get on to something else from the Jeffrey Epstein files. Please stop reading about me. I have the DOJ and your tax dollars tirelessly at work trying to delete all those things they released about me, so I could just say it's a leftist conspiracy. Because, you know, leftists were really the one harping on Dan Vagina and Cash App Patel last year, being like, we got to get these files released. I've been made fun of in this, like, oh, you didn't care last year. It's like, how do you feel that Donald Trump's saying now it's like a leftist conspiracy? How does it feel that he made you a fucking moron? So that's what he's saying right there. Can we just move on? Guys. It's like Illuminati meets Eyes Wide Shut meets Jeffrey Epstein. Can we just move on, please?
Like healthcare,
Mr. President.
something that people care about. Yeah, what did you say, Glenn?
What did you say? I'm sorry, I was talking, I couldn't hear you. And you know, when people are talking, they can't hear each other. But what did you say? Because I caught a whiff of it, and I'm very scared to answer this, so I'm just gonna keep talking over you and then redirect the whole narrative to make it look like it's your fault. And wait until you see what is her fault.
What would you say to the survivors who
You are the worst reporter. No wonder CNN has no ratings because of people like you. You know, she's a young woman.
Listen, guys, you didn't believe Donald Trump when he said,
It wasn't the brain because I took a cognitive test and I aced it. I got a perfect mark.
you thought he was lying about acing that dementia exam, but let me just rewind this.
Because of people like you. You know, she's a young woman.
Fucking bingo. She is a young woman. And you thought that whole lion, tiger, bear, I aced that test. I named all the animals. Remember when he bragged about naming animals like he was 6? Again, I don't get who thinks this guy is smart, but let me just address this shit because this is where we are in America. The leader of the free world is like, guys, they want you to name a unicorn and a rhino and a hibachi grill. And people are like, that's my fucking man. He named all them animals. Was it one of them Hungry Caterpillar books with the fucking cardboard, Mr. President? Because them's a toughs. Like, these people are cheering this dude on like he fucking did something. You know, I'm sure when he pooped his pants, everyone was like, look at that. Look at the big boy. He went right in the chair. Awesome. Like, why do we have to coddle this moron? But if you didn't believe that he got all the animals correct, this is an American moment. There was 7 years ago, we the people endowed by our creator, and she's a young woman. I named all the animals. Ugh.
Porter, no wonder CNN has no ratings because of people like you. You know, she's a young woman.
She is a young woman. I'm sorry I ever doubted you on that dementia test, sir. Can't believe it.
For what, releasing? It wasn't the brain because I took a cognitive test and I aced it. I got a perfect mark.
I can't believe I made fun of him. I need to apologize. Guys, I need to apologize. I made fun of this guy because he was like, lion, pig, bear. I aced that. Nothing's wrong with the brain because I aced it. I got perfect marks. And I was like, that sounds like something's wrong with your brain just describing that test. You know, none of my children, through all of their years of schooling, came home and said, couldn't be my brain, Pops. I took the test and I aced it. Perfect marks. You know, like, no. I'm sorry. I know we're dealing with a feeble-minded dementia patient, but he's a ruthless cuck, you know? I'm just so sorry I ever doubted him.
It wasn't the brain because I took a cognitive test and I aced it. I got a perfect mark.
What the fuck was I thinking? Listen to him nail this. He totally gendered her correctly. And thank you, by the way, Mr. President. Us young kids do appreciate that.
Ratings because of people like you. You know, she's a young woman.
And you thought he was stupid. He knew she was a woman. Okay? And you guys thought he was dumb. You thought him saying, I aced that dementia exam was like fluff. Now I got to re-examine all those doctors that were saying perfect specimen of health. 6'8", a slim 130. Look at that. I didn't realize that. That's a slim 135, mostly muscle, 2% BMI, you know, 6'12", 6'13". He's 6'13", 135, 2% BMI. Amazing specimen, guys. This is chef's kiss. I mean, God took no days off. You might have read in the Bible, he rested, but he didn't. He was hard at work, way up late, thinking I'm going to make the most McDonald-y fucking Play-Doh dude ever. And nothing's going to be wrong with the brain. He's going to ace it.
I don't think I've ever seen you smile. I've known you for 10 years.
She looks kind of young, and he's known her for 10 years. Is this another indictment? Anyway, no, I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. Let's hear his complaint. Remember, the reporter asked, do you think the Epstein victims are going to get justice? Because if you can even read poorly, you know there's been none. I wonder why the guy sitting in the White House is the most mentioned. Hold on. He's the most mentioned. MAGA's not going to like this. Mentioned more than Jesus was mentioned in the Bible. Okay? Jesus, approximately mentioned 983 to 1,300 times, depending on what version of the Bible you're reading. Welcome to church. I'm Rob. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. We welcome all here, except for maggots, you know, because they're Satanists. Well, no, that's not fair. Satanists are cool people. They're snakes. They're vipers, a den of vipers. That's what they are. They mean no one well. And it's all because of insecurities, which is sad because you could do work on yourself. I know you can't afford a therapy here in America, but I encourage you to just introspection. Anyways, so let's establish this. Jesus, let's call it 1,400 times he's mentioned in the Bible. Let's go high. How many times is Donald Trump mentioned in the Epstein files? 38,000. Holy Shinto. Okay. Now that we know that, and he was asked, do you think there will be justice? Sir, with your 38,000 mentions, I wish she had reframed the question. Maybe she would have got a better answer. Excuse me, sir, Madam President, Madam Poopy Pants President. With those 38,000 mentions of your name in the Epstein files, do you think the survivors will get any justice? I know you're the one in charge of justice right now, and it doesn't look like it. But do you think, and this is his retort, this is the president of America. I'm so sorry, rest of the world. A lot of us didn't vote for him. In fact, I don't even think a lot of people voted for him. I'm pretty sure they fucked with the machines in Pennsylvania, Georgia. Like, I'm pretty sure we're going to find out at some point. Like, you know, this is why they're trying to rig the next one. But I'm sorry, the rest of the world, because this guy does not represent us. He does represent some of the Midwest and the evangelicals and the crypto bros and the elite billionaire class, the Epstein class, but not most common people. So when Jonathan Donham Trump, Madam President, when Madam President is asked, will the Epstein survivors get justice? You know, the Law and Order Party. I want you to remember that. This is the party of law and order. Remember, they were like, don't interfere with ICE. It's weird. ICE doesn't have any authority over citizens. But anyways, they were like, you know, grasping at anything. And they were really harping on law and order. You can't have a weapon. You can't film the police. Law and order. Laws that I just made up right now. The Law and Order Party, when asked about justice. Okay, am I going slow enough for you maggots? I want you to keep up. I know you're reading at a 4th grade level, so I need you to stay with me. When asked about justice, this was his retort.
Because of people like you. You know, she's a young woman. I don't think I've ever seen you smile. I've known you for 10 years. I don't think I've ever seen a smile on your face. You know why? You know why you're not smiling? Because you know you're not telling the truth. And you're a very dishonest organization.
I'm just going to show you his face again. If we're going to go, listen, if we're going to say we just believe whatever he says, if we're going to be a moron like MAGA, I just want to show you his face. I know that kind of looks like a smile. It's not. If you can't identify what a smile looks like, then something's wrong with you. But the whole time he's telling her she hasn't smiled, you see a lot of pictures of him smiling. If we're just going to go on the theory of if you don't smile, you're a liar. Again, I have to fucking try to pretend to be so stupid to interpret this shit. You understand that, right? Like, I just want to go over this again. Because I really feel like America, talking to you, Oklahoma, talking to you, not everybody in Oklahoma, but most of you, and Joe Rogan. Joe, if you're watching, do not subscribe. But the rest of you, please hit subscribe. Notification bell, you can support the channel, super chats, stuff like that. I'm Rob, welcome to church. I'm an ordained reverend. I'm a former addict. I've been homeless. I've experienced many tragedies. I'm an orphan, and I love you. It doesn't matter your religion. It does not matter what you do for work. Let me be very clear on this. Your work is not your worth. You are worth something because you're a human, and that's it. And that's good enough for me. It was good enough for Mr. Rogers, good enough for me. I like you because you're you. You don't have to like what I like. You don't have to believe in Jesus. I still love you. Jesus didn't say you need to worship Christianity. There was no Christianity at the time. He was a Jewish dude. He was a black Jewish dude murked by the state. He was a radical, woke leftist. Never had cash, didn't own his own home, lived with his fucking parents. Think about that. So just if anybody says, get a job, or what do you do for work? Go, it doesn't define me. Does that define you? That's really sad. You should have something else, you know, something you love more than work. So welcome to the channel. But I gotta really fucking try to stoop low to, you know, not just laugh this off as a joke, because again, this is the White House. This is the president saying, you know why she doesn't smile? Because she's a liar. Sir, you could have just went with the old liar, liar, pants on fire. It would have been a funnier defense, you know, when asked about justice for the Epstein survivors. Literally, you should have just said liar, liar, pants on fire. Next. And like, I would have laughed at, I mean, as horrible as that sounds, I would have just been like, holy what? You know, it would have been a great clip on TikTok. MAGA would have cheered because they're fucking stupid and they'll cheer for anything. And I do mean they'll cheer for anything. If you don't believe me, listen to this. Donald says he loves the poorly educated. This guy. says he loves the poorly educated, and his fan base, who he's saying, I love you because you're stupid, they're woo-hooing in the background. I've never heard people cheer at being called stupid. This is remarkable. Like, American exceptionalism really is the exceptionally stupid.
Educated, I love the poorly educated.
Woo! He's saying, I love you because you're dodo birds. And they're cheering. They're cheering at their own extinction. Oh my God. Are we the last generation of grandparents? We might be. So anyways, back to the president taking questions from reporters. Not really. Not really. If I can remind you, he earlier stated, I'm sorry, what was that? I couldn't hear you. You know what you're lying about? And then completely talked over her. Where I just want to go, basic communication skills 101. If you can't hear someone, shut your fucking la boca, okay? But here is the old famous phrase, you know a liar because they don't smile. I believe that's Confucius. I believe it was Plato who once wrote the cave allegory and then after said, I know a bitch be lying when she ain't be smiling. Anyways, back to Epstein's best friend mentioned how many times? Don't show that. Mentioned how many times? 38,000 times. 38,000 times. And by the way, just for proof, this is the reporter asking the question. He did get it right. She's a young woman. So, anyways, here he is, not smiling. Again, it kind of looks like he's pinching a loaf. Whoa. Did somebody get your order wrong at Outback, buddy? What are you upset about? Yes, sir. Can I take your order? No, this is not Epstein Island. You cannot order that. Insert, very dark joke there. By the way, anybody ever hear from Charlie Kirk or like his loved ones? Isn't that funny how they just like threw him to the side? He lost that gun debate by a long shot. That's what I heard. Okay, so here is the ancient philosophy. I believe it was Sun Tzu from The Art of War, where he said, you know a bitch be lying if she ain't be smiling.
I've known you for 10 years. I don't think I've ever seen a smile on your face. You know why? You know why you're not smiling? Because you know you're not telling the truth. And you're a very dishonest organization.
Yep.
And they should be ashamed of you. Okay, go ahead.
And you should be ashamed of you. You, mic drop, walk out, sir. Madam President, let's just all, hey, what's up, Dusty? Dusty, what's up? Sorry, I'm not reading the, he's a name caller because he's not so smart. Well, that's, listen, if you've ever gotten to an argument with, I don't know, anyone in middle school, it gets down to name calling. It's the most bare, basic bitch thing you can do. But I just would like to take a second to really appreciate the depth and wisdom leading our country right now. You know why she's not smiling, folks? Because she's a liar. And if I know anything about liars, people telling the truth are usually like, people that are honest are usually always smiling, right? That's like, I think as humans, we've evolved to detect, We get the spidey sense. We start tingling. We're like, bitch, be smiling? Pretty honest. Because you've never seen someone lie to your face with a smile on. Never. That doesn't happen. That does not exist on Earth. Okay? But like our good Chomo president, Madam President, said.
I don't think I've ever seen you smile. I've known you for 10 years. I don't think I've ever seen a smile on your face. You know why? You know why you're not smiling? Because you know you're not telling the truth.
Amen. Plato, Socrates, Heracles, Hercules, Avatar, Spider-Man 1. With great responsibility comes, smiling when you're honest. The Bible, Jesus. I'm pretty sure it's in the lost books of the Bible, the Lost Ark with Indiana Jones, where Jesus was like, if I see one more person frowning and lying at me, I'm going to banish you to hell. So we all know this. This is deeply ingrained in our genetics. That's all the president is, uncovering for us. That's why he's seen as such a common man, because he just speaks these soothsaying truths of humanity. Like, you know why you're not smiling? Because you're a liar. Listen, I'm not going to move on, Robbie G, because you know what? Now it's your part to play a role in this. The next time somebody tries to tell you something and they're doing it straight-faced, you call them a liar to their fucking face. You get right up in there. When they're at work, when you're at work, because this guy's at work, remember, we're paying for this. When you're at work and somebody comes up and is like, hey, I saw you didn't do that. You go, you fucking liar. The president said, if you're not smiling, you're a lion. Okay, I want you to take this wisdom with you everywhere you go, MAGA. I'm specifically talking to MAGA. Okay, I need you to use this in your day-to-day life. You say, if that bitch ain't smiling, we know she lying. Okay? Absolutely brilliant, Madam President.
And you're a very dishonest organization.
Yeah, I mean, not a smile. Have you ever been to CNN? Not a smile there. Even the C in CNN is like this. It's not. They didn't do it like a U, like a smiley. No, that's not a smile. So, right on, sir. Now back to you grimacing about fucking being asked a question when you have reporters there. Okay. I just hope this logic doesn't apply to everyone. I hope it only applies to the corporate media. This is the fucking dumbest shit ever. Okay, let's go to another bootlicker. You know Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank? He apparently is, fully riding on the Epstein dildo like any good swine snarfer would.
Average person at the kitchen table is not worrying about Epstein.
Yeah. Did you hear that? I didn't take a picture of him. I don't need to show you Kevin Leary. He's bald, fucking dressed like a goddamn maitre d'. It looks like he's leaving from this CNN interview to go drive a limo. Like, dude, aren't you Mr. Billionaire or some shit? Like, fucking do some pizzazz. Get a top hat, Shine that fucking bald head of yours. My Christ, these people, this is why these billionaires shouldn't have this money. They have no style. Look at Elon Musk's desperate attempts to go to Epstein Island on Christmas. Like, fuck, man. I'd be trying to jump a jet ski, over a pack of dolphins while lighting off fireworks from the back and, I don't know, fucking sipping tea, Like, I'd be doing cool shit. I wouldn't give a fuck about Epstein or wearing a tuxedo that makes me look like I'm the limo driver. I wish I had a photo of him, because you got to see this dude. It's like, god damn. That's why I like Cam Newton. I don't know much about Cam Newton. I know he played for the Patriots for a little bit, but if you've ever seen Cam Newton dress, I'm like, that's a man who has money. That's a man who can afford a custom hat smith, which is what I would do, just so you know. You'll know I have money when I have custom hats.
Don't give a damn. They want to.
Wait.
The average person at the kitchen table.
Yeah, the average mom and dad with kids at the kitchen table doesn't give a shit that these kids are being abducted to some island. They don't fucking care, man. You just heard Dr. Oz. We played him earlier. He said you gotta get those kids out of school and into work. And if Epstein Island is the money-making way, we're waiting for the coal mines to open, folks. They have not opened those Tennessee coal mines that might be empty of coal, but we won't know until we send the children in. Guys, this is just it. Nobody cares about this. You heard the president. Move on. Start smiling. Move on and smile, you liars. And now here comes his loyal boots, his loyal snakeskin boots, to say the average family with kids and, concerns of law and order, they don't care about this huge ring of billionaires that are just operating outside of the law internationally. God, they're probably watching Shark Tank. I love these takes because you really have, here's the other thing. History's going to remember this. People forget that, they're on TV. They're saying this out loud. This isn't in the privacy of their homes. This guy who sells things for a living, you can consciously object. Or if you see him in public, be like, why don't you defend Epstein a little more, you fucking loser? These people forget because they are billionaires or multi-millionaires that they live in gated communities. They don't give a shit about the price of gas. So that's adorable. Gas went down 12 cents. They don't care. They buy jet fuel. They don't drive in cars. Well, maybe this guy does because he looks like a limo driver. But this is why they're trying to tell you what the common family does, because they can only ask AI what common people do. I don't know. How stupid can you fucking be?
Average person.
There we go. Cheeto dust. What makes my opinion valid? Simple. Very simple, Cheeto dust. I'm against people taking CSAMing children. That's not controversial. That's not even moderate. That's like the human thing. These people aren't. You understand me? What they're telling you, this is propaganda. This is real-time propaganda. What Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank is telling you is just fucking move on with your life, people. You don't care about this. This is billionaires that have gotten tax breaks from taking your health care, doing whatever they want, operating outside the law, getting STDs like Bill Gates or whatever, secretly giving their wives at the time antibiotics. This is a realm you know nothing about. Just shut your little peon mouths and never retire. This is real-time propaganda to desensitize and to humanize you, to make you think, oh yeah, the media is just saying like nobody cares. Why am I getting in a tizzy about this? The president literally just fucking said, you know how I know you're a liar? You're not smiling. Have you ever heard that before? I haven't even heard creative kids be like, I know he's lying, he's not smiling. If anything, I've heard kids say, I know you're lying because you're smiling. You know what I mean? So like, this is the most bottom barrel scraping shit for you to gobble up because you are snarfing swine hog. And you don't even recognize, like, this is why I'm playing it for you. Because this is real-time propaganda. When people can go on CNN uninterrupted and say, nobody gives a shit about the Epstein files, just move on with your life. You're being told a narrative that they're profiting off of, uninterrupted, to try and get you to be dehumanized so there's no justice for the survivors. So all the people in power, all of the people in power, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Joe Rogan, this motherfucker, he's criminal. He's a co-conspirator at this point. He's whitewashing their goddamn legacy. The Epstein experience, that's what we call it. These people in real time are propagandizing you, and you've fallen for it because you're like, what makes your opinion valid? That was Cheeto Dust's question. My opinion is valid because I am saying everyone should care. This is what MAGA feared about Pizzagate and yada, 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 with no evidence. And now you have the government self-snitching on itself while then miscellaneously deleting thousands of documents. I'll show you this again. Donald Trump mentioned 38,000 times, but if you go and search today, guess what? It's down to 10 or 7,000. And I'm telling you, as on Saturday, I was searching, and you could see the results. And if you search yesterday, they're much smaller, much smaller. And this is CNN. I have a video. Corporate media is not your friend. Go watch it. It's from the pandemic. It's about an economist telling you, the problem is we flooded the economy with money. Who got all that money? Did we retire off $1,400, $1,200 a month? No. We paid rent, groceries. It all went to the billionaire class. They siphoned it all up. We didn't save any money. We were trying to stay alive, you fucking idiots. God. And this is CNN. A poison. Not as much as a pox on our society as Fox News is, but they're no different. You have this guy on. You have this limo driver, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, on to say this.
Average person at the kitchen table is not worrying about Epstein. Don't give a damn. They want to provide for their family, and they are. America's working.
So
This is the
so hold on.
American.
Let me just say,
100% working.
No, you don't all like a gaggle try to go, oh, let me just say, you stand up and go, get the fuck out of here. That's your take? Worst take ever. Go. You're not welcome back. How do they allow this? You don't both sides. What I'm trying to teach you guys, what I'm trying to teach you is there's no both sides to the Epstein thing. There is not. I know. Some people are like, I'm just a centrist. I want to hear both sides. And we'll find the truth in the middle. There's no two sides on this. There isn't. There's one side. And that's it. Everybody else is wrong. That's what makes the opinion valid. You're either against children being napped or you're not. And if you're not, you're probably one of them, or just weirdly into protecting them. I can't figure it out, but there's no two sides. Are we clear? I can't believe I have to explain this in the year of our Lord 2026. You know, this is fucking tapped. I can't believe I have to explain that. Greed or not greed? Ah, Shakespeare. To greed or not to greed? That is the question from limo driver Kevin Leary. Kevin O'Leary, you're a disgrace. If you're fucking Irish, you're a disgrace. Chucky Allah. Oh, I gotta play you this. Steve Bannon. You know him from probably prison, because that's where he's been. And he also went there for grifting his own audience. And he's also, you know, a Sig Heiler, but he did it after Elon did. Pathetic. Couldn't even do it first. Chicken shit. There's nothing more than I hate than a cowardly Nazi. Let me be on record. My grandfather's flag is right over there. There's his painting. Let me go on record for all the Antifa out there. And I'm sure you could support this statement. There's nothing worse than a Nazi besides a cowardly one. You know, a chicken shit one like Steve Bannon. Here's what Steve Bannon wants to say. Again, can't believe I got to preface this with America, the land of the free.
Damn right. We're going to have ICE surround the polls come November. We're not going to sit here and allow you to steal the country again. And you can whine and cry and throw your toys out of the pram all you want, but we will never again allow an election to be stolen. You're damn right. We're going to have ICE surround the polls.
Is he talking about election polls, or is he talking about the guys in the Epstein files polls? I don't know. Who's to say? Nobody knows. Because why would you want ICE to surround election polls? That doesn't make any sense. But if you've read the Epstein files, even poorly, ICE surrounding those polls, then maybe it makes sense. Maybe it makes sense. And you never know. With a guy like this, who knows what he dabbles in? You know what I mean? Look at those chode-ass fingers. Holy shit, what's wrong with his knuckles? I hope that's just blur on the camera. If not, go get checked by a doctor. We know you can afford it. Steal the country. It's our country. 16 tones. What's up? Long time no see. Fucking virtual high five. President Reagan, 24-hour timeout for supporting terrorist organizations. I have to support that. I'm an Antifa. 3Dog. Good to see you, 3Dog. Yo, I'm sorry. I have not been seeing people in the chat. Bannon is scum. Yeah, oh, so you haven't heard that? Ooh, you got to know your enemy. That's just ancient Rage Against the Machine law. Trump is named more in the Epstein files than Harry Potter's named in the entire series? No, come on, Shelf It Underground. I know, listen, I do know this because Google told me it's real. Jesus only named, we're going to go high, we'll say 1,500 times. Trump named 38,000 times. So he's got more mentions than Jesus has in the Bible. Holy shit. And look at who's next. Reid Hoffman, Bill Gates, Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, then Richard Branson, Howard Lutnick, Kevin Warsh, who was just appointed into our government. My fucking Christ. My fucking Christ. When institutions fail, you don't reform them, you replace them. Steve Bannon, a bunch. And Steve Bannon's emails are horrible. He's like, we're going to do PR. I'm going to be your PR guy. Here, this guy that says we're going to have ice surround the polls.
You're damn right. We're going to have ice surround the polls come November. We're not going to sit here and allow you to steal the country again. And you
steal the country again. From who? Have working people took back the country? This is the other thing. Like when you listen to their words, thank you for pointing this out. Whoever did. Sorry. Who did it? Hold on. I got to give you a shout. Rob, don't make fun of the way Trump drinks a glass of water. He touched a Bible recently. Burns haven't healed. Fire. Who? Steal the country. 16 tones. Good to see you. Steal the country from who? This is the funniest shit. Because you see MAGA put bumper stickers on the car says take the country back. I'm like, from who, you fucking idiots? These people run everything. Just Google them. They run everything. Everything. Oh, I'm sorry. Are we a bunch of mom and pop stores? Do we still have Toys R Us or Bradley's or fucking Kmart or anything? No. Everything's run by Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, Donald Trump. They make the laws. They own all the markets. We can't even have BYD Chinese electric cars here because they threaten Elon's manhood. This is insane that you think we're like, oh, I forgot. Working class people took the power back and then wanted Dr. Oz to tell us never to retire. I played that earlier. Dr. Oz said, if you dummies would just fucking stop going to school and just start working and not ever retire and just die at your job, we could generate $3 trillion for the rich people. I mean, the economy. Where does that go? Let's see. Where does all the money go in the economy? Hold on. I'm going to figure this out. Could it be billionaires? You tell me Elon Musk earned that money? Give me a fucking break. Could it be billionaires? Yeah, I'm not going to die at work because a fucking billionaire wants more money to email Epstein. I miss you. Rest in peace. You know? Good God. You in homage to this dude. Oh, he's not smiling. Maybe he's a liar. What do you guys think? Not smiling. These are his words, guys. I'm just the messenger, man. Just the messenger. He said, if you're not smiling, I know you're lying. That's what he told her. Fucking unreal. By the way, how do you people not call these people on their shit ever? Bunch of spineless cowards. Oh yeah. Let me show you this for all your Kid Rock fans. Here's an old song called Cool Daddy Cool by Kid Rock. I'm not going to read the lyrics, but you can read them right above my head. This is a real Kid Rock song. Real lyrics. If you wonder why they're going to have him play their own halftime Super Bowl show, which is so funny. Nothing says I'm so sensitive like I'm not watching yours. I'm going to do my own with this guy. Kid Rock. These are his lyrics. If you wonder why he supports them and they support him. Birds of a feather, like the great William Eilish once said. Oh, Jesus. I bring you all the best memes and tweets. You don't call out any of the globalist Democrats? You're new here, aren't you? You're new here. You're very new here. I'll take a moment. If I talk down to you, it's just because you're stupid. So I'm not a Democrat. I don't like the Democrats. The only ones I like are socialists or independent. Bernie Sanders, Mamdani. Because, Mamdani's getting shit done. They're not frauds. They want to work for the people. They believe public service is being a public servant. I don't like the Clintons. You know who does like the Clintons? Donald Trump. He was good friends with him. You should look it up. I have photos, but I'm not going to waste my time because you're not really worth it. I just want to explain this to you in case you are new and you want to hit subscribe and the notification bell. If you vote all blue, you're not getting universal health care. That's why I say when institutions fail, you don't reform them. You replace them. Maybe you don't understand that, but what I'm trying to tell you is persecute, prosecute, indict, investigate, criminally charge them all. Is that clear enough? Is that clear enough? I'm a radical left woke socialist. Okay? So we don't have a political party in America. We don't have a voice in the corporate media. You know, the corporate media that allows Kevin O'Leary to say dumb shit like this.
Average person at the kitchen table is not worrying about Epstein.
I would have immediately said, are you in the files? How is that your take? Have you talked to an average person lately outside of your Shark Tank show? You need to understand something. The reason I am the boogeyman to maggots is because I want universal health care. I never want you to have to consider an Uber over an ambulance. I would like you to work 3 days a week, 5 hours a day. I think the other days should be enjoyed by whatever hobbies you have. And if you don't have any and you're just, you know, consistently online, let me ask you, what do you love? Go develop something with that. You know, whether it's cats or drawing unicorns, I don't give a shit. Just follow your passion, follow your heart, because you're going to die one day. And you're not going to look back and go, fuck, I should have worked more. I should have stayed late that one day. Okay? No political party in America fucking wants that for you. The blue don't, and you're seeing what the red is bringing you. Okay? The red is having Kevin O'Leary tell you nobody cares about the Epstein files. Donald Trump saying, you know how I know you're a liar? You're not smiling. Like the most basic dumb shit you've ever heard. And on top of that, you have Dr. Oz saying, if you just quit high school and never retire, we could generate $3 trillion for the economy. No, silly simpleton, you won't get that money. No. The economy doesn't mean you. I know consumers are 70% of the economy. They're purchasing power, so you guys have to buy stuff. And we're not going to pay you enough to buy stuff, hence no one can afford egg. But that's why you sell, just before you start to say egg price is low, egg is a metaphor for everything. And before you celebrate the price of gas, it's a fucking decoy, you morons. 12 cents off gas, they're going to jack up the price in 6 months. You just complained enough and they needed some kind of relief, okay? My Christ. As soon as that Venezuelan sweet sludge runs out, or other countries, you know, intervene. You saw what we did to Maduro. If that's legal now, help. But is that good enough for you? You know, release the Israel files. Yeah. These people cheer on Israel having universal health care, but as soon as an American says it, they're like, God damn socialist, why don't you go to Russia? What are you talking about? You would love it in Russia. They have an authoritarian dictator who's tyrannical and poisons all his opponents. I'm sure you could go over there and cheer for it, you know? Stupidity. Thank God it's not contagious. What are your thoughts about PBS having ties to Epstein? Listen, if I can't believe I have to hand this to them. This is how we know the audience is. The maggots aren't that bright because they're like, what about the Democrats? It's like, guys, what about Noam Chomsky? Like, that's where you hurt me. You know, you want to hurt me, say, what about Noam? Have you read Noam's letters? Yes, I have. They're horrific. Turns out he was manufacturing the age of consent. Hassan Parker, thank you for that joke. You know, like, this is where, like, some America doesn't even understand. There's not just blue, red. I wear red hat. You wear blue tie. That's how we know difference on TV. Like, this is how stupid we are as a fucking country. Guys, I'm way beyond that shit. I am fighting for billionaires to be taxed at 100%. You're going to have to afford your avocado yachts on 999 million billionaires. Or you're going to leave? please threaten to leave America? Why don't you go to Saudi Arabia, where you get all your funding from? Why don't you go there? I hope you don't drink alcohol, because they don't allow it. But yeah, it's not just red and blue. I know that might be upsetting to some of you. There's some of us that are way in the comrade red. Doesn't matter who you vote in, they don't call the shots. Thank you, other Dusty. Double tap the like, share, and subscribe. It's free. Thank you, Lady Wiser. Lady Wiser, I wish I could like those comments. Appreciate that, because you help remind me. If you could, hit subscribe. It is free. That is not a lie. See, I'm smiling. The president knows I'm not lying because I'm smiling. Now you have to smile. That's in the Constitution now. Liar, liar, no smile on your face. That's what the president said, and MAGA has to go by it. You know, it's new law. Never seen a Democrat promote communism. Oh, it's news troll, MAGA. This is why, oh wait. No, news troll isn't MAGA. Never seen a Democrat promote communism, but I have seen Trump acting like a fascist. There we go. Didn't read the rest of your comment. My apology. Hey, this is a good moment. I always like to point out when I'm wrong and I have to apologize to people, because this is a good lesson for tiny man syndrome to fucking learn. I'm calling you that, MAGA. I was wrong, news troll, and it's good to see you. I didn't see you sneak in. So my apologies. And yes, Democrats do not promote communism. You know who did? Jesus Christ. Stateless, classless, utopian society. No money. Just everything's fucking good, man. If you don't believe me, go look up at the definition of communism. Don't believe what you're told. Learn it for yourself. And then compare it to Jesus talking about heaven. Interesting. Complex. Where's that, Joel Osteen? Where's that for seed money, you dumb bitch? Anyways, sorry. That's actually law in Pocatello, Idaho, to smile. I believe that, Scott. The reason I believe that is because, you know, when I was in grade school, you'd look up stupid laws. They had the books where it was like, your donkey can't put its feet in a pot in West Minneapolis, you know, or some shit. Like West Virginia, you're, you know, not allowed to marry your donkey unless it's, you know, on a full moon, you know, shit like that. Bro doesn't know what he's talking about. Sure, Joe Rogan does, though. Is he not taking an ice bath right now? Is that why you're so upset? I love these alpha males coming in here and telling me what I am, you know? Nothing defines them more hardcore than when their eyes have to get away from Joe Rogan taking an ice bath. Isn't that weird? These people watch Joe Rogan take ice baths. Listen, I've wasted a lot of time on the internet in my life, but I've never watched another man get into an ice bath. Just never. That was not part of my curriculum during the day. Never had an interest in it. And it's not even to say, like, maybe if it was Harry Styles, you know, but still, getting into an ice bath? You know? Maybe if he was doing an acoustic version of Watermelon Sugar, I'd be listening for the song and not the ice bath. You know what I mean, guys? You know what I mean? True that. Thank you, Three Dog. What's my deal with Joe Rogan? He's a masshole from Newton, Massachusetts, who's poisoning the fucking people's minds. Mostly dummies, you know, people who are weak enough to have their minds poisoned by this moron, and having all of Epstein's friends on and pawning it off like it's some PR whitewashing thing. If you've ever heard him talk to Peter Thiel about it, he's like, so when Peter, tell me about when you met Epstein. And Peter's like, 2014. And Joe's like, so before the arrest. And Peter's like, are you going to be able to edit this? Like, no, dude, he was arrested like 2008. What the fuck? It's like a blatant and poor attempt. Like, this is how I worked in radio for 20 years, okay? So I have somewhat of what you would call it knowledge. Knowledge. I believe the French call it knowledge, or they call it knowledge. I don't know. Is the K silent? Anyways, so I just understand that when you're going to have a guest on, you just do a little reading. And now you have the internet. You can just look shit up, you know? And Joe does none of that. In fact, he does none of it so much. He's clipped all the time getting tricked by internet stuff. So that's why I have a problem with him. Because if you're going to be paid $100 million a year by Peter Thiel's Spotify, do your research. Like you guys used to say. Remember that? That was adorable. when you guys are like, I don't believe doctors, but there's a good veterinarian down the street where I'm getting my medication from. That is hilarious. That is so fucking funny, and I hope they write it in the history books. I hope a history book in the future gets a paragraph about, and there was this brief period where people had denied all science, the accumulation of many centuries of science. In lieu, they all went and saw their local horse doctor. And if you don't get the irony, let me just explain it. They don't believe in people doctors, but they believe in horse doctors. Like the horse doctors wanted. Okay, guys, okay. Anyways, the reason I really harp on that is because if you listen to Joe Rogan before the pandemic, when he had that Minnesota infectious disease guy on, who was super smart and did a lot of stuff before the pandemic, Joe himself was saying it makes sense to wear a mask. Doctors wear them. And then like Bill Burr pointed out to him, the mask thing was like rollerblading in the 90s. Everybody rollerbladed. And then one dude made the joke that rollerblades are gay, and everyone threw their rollerblades away. Except for the people who were like, that doesn't affect my, I'm not like, what? You know? But there were very sensitive people who were very much thin-skinned and could not take any critique, Joe Rogan. And he threw away his, common sense belief to not be teased, which I can only assume was teased by the billionaire Epstein class, which why would you give a shit what they think? So this is really why I harp on him, because he's just the pathetic fucking liar. And I don't like pathetic liars. Judge me by the people I hate, Okay, see you later, John Cena. Don't come back. I love how people feel the need to tell me that they're leaving. You could just go. So anyways, fascism seeks to eliminate the class war by having all the classes working towards a common goal instead of merging them into one single class. Thank you, Doom Shop. Doom MF, rest in peace. Maybe Dump didn't go to Epstein Island because he had his own resort. I mean, he did have Mar-a-Lago where people were stolen from, not people, young girls were stolen from to go to Epstein's place. So, yeah, kind of sounds legit. It's not an airport. You don't have to announce your departure. I need to have a pen with me. Molivex, if I pronounce that correctly. That is funny as shit, and thank you. Can I please steal that? Can you please hit subscribe and come back and remind me of that? Because I don't have a pen, and that's killing me right now. I need to bring a pen down here, because that is funny as hell. That was so fucking, I love that. Hold on, I gotta read it again. It's not an airport. You don't have to announce your departure. Everybody please use that, and please give credit to Molivex. Jacqueline, has Trump ever admitted to having flown with Epstein? The better question is, has Trump ever admitted to anything? We just listened to him say, we know you're a liar because you're not smiling. If you take anybody, if you take an adult, okay, an adult with 80 years of age behind him, serious, that says, you know how I knew she was a liar? Her frown. Like, that on its face is fucking stupid. Here, let me just, here, I'll explain it to MAGA. Imagine if I was like, you know how I know Joe Rogan's a liar? And instead of citing the evidence that I witnessed him say, if I was just like, Joe doesn't really smile often, you would fucking laugh me off YouTube. No, I would still be here. I would probably get fucking bigger if I just directed that at like Joe Biden. If I was like, Joe Biden's a liar? Didn't see him smiling much. Everybody'd be like, hurrah, fucking yay, go Brandon, or whatever the fuck you said. Why can't you just say fuck Joe Biden? Like, why the fuck your feelings crowd can't say fuck Joe Biden? Will never. I hope that gets marked down in the history books too, where they're like, and there was this group of people that claimed to be not politically correct, but had to say, let's go Brandon? They had to make their motto a politically correct version of fuck you. I really hope history remembers all this shit, because I want your grandkids to be fucking ashamed of you. Not the incel, not you incels, but, the the other people. I want your grandkids to be. Anyways. Journalists have devoted their entire lives to deceiving you, while a reality TV star with decades of fraud and exhaustively documented lying is your only beacon of truth and honesty. When you believe one man above science, above your intelligence agencies, above former CIA directors and retired generals and revered journalists, when you believe that one man above even your own eyes and ears, you are fully indoctrinated. John Pavlovitz. I like him. The cult of Trump, this president, didn't create this virus, but he ignored it, denied it, minimized it, joked about it, weaponized it, politicized it, and exacerbated it. He's culpable for the chaos and unnecessary illness and death. Oh, preventable deaths. Yep, because of it. And his supporters are too. This is the human cost of the MAGA cult delusion. Well, incels have grandkids? Jessica, I made the amendment. I know there's a delay. I made the amendment. The incels will not, but some of them have breeded, like Elon Musk, via test tube, and he's not a father to any of them, because he's got like 15 kids, but hopefully his children are already ashamed, and there's children's children. This is where I feel like I really need my Wiccan crowd. Welcome to church. I'm Rob. Hit subscribe, notification bell. We are a church of power to the people. So if you're people, welcome. But this is where I really need my like brujas and brujos, you know what I mean? Where I need like generational curses on these motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? And we do that in this church because it's magic, and Jesus was magic, okay? He's a magical being. He had Riz, all right? Anyways, and we're all paying for it now equally. So the people who have worked most closely with Trump thinks he's a dangerous, stupid liar. That is true. It felt like we were walking along the edge of the cliff perpetually. Former White House staff secretary Rob Porter. Well, and you can just, Rince Priebus. Yeah. Great quotes. Oh my God, read Tia's stuff. I'm definitely an incel. You're definitely an incel. Jesus is not magic. You are nuts. Oh, thank you, user SR7MQ2JS3U. Appreciate you, user. Clearly not a bot account. That's why the avatar is just a brown L. I love those comments. Keep them coming so the algorithm will boost this. Repetition of a statement does not make it true, nor does it make it more intelligent. Are you sure? I knew she was a liar because she didn't smile. I knew she was a liar because she didn't smile. I knew she was lying. No smile. Did you believe me? Tia! Oh, I love when people see... Jessica, do you know Tia? I'm just going to do this. I'm going to self-indulge. Because yesterday, I saw Dusty in the Majority Report, and I freaked the fuck out like that. Except I did a ton of hearts. So I love when people who know each other from the wilds of the internet see each other somewhere. I'm so happy it happened here. I'm so happy. Let's not forget to give a round of applause to the Trump administration for bringing back the previously eradicated measles. Jesus Christ, Shell. Can we all just take a moment to thank RFK Jr. specifically for not allowing America to have eradication status on measles? And I'd like to give a special shout out to South Carolina and Texas. Not a fan of doctors, but they love their veterinarians. Bunch of swine fuckers. Anyways. And MRSA. Oh, it's so horrifying. Listen, yes, me and Tia listen to Nicholas. Oh my God, that just made me so happy. I know that's dumb, but sometimes I just really like to appreciate the little things. So I'm so happy that Jessica and Tia saw each other in the wild here. Because me and Dusty did that the other day. Ever had polio? No, me neither. Thank you, science news troll. God damn it. You stole my joke. Well, actually, that's not... I usually say, have you ever had polio? You should go ask your grandparents about it. Ask them if they'd rather go to the vet. Jesus. Dude looked like a narc cop in Detroit. Except he'd be a bad one because he's just doing all the drugs. So you're just explaining a narc cop in Detroit because cops are the most corrupt gang in fucking America? Okay. Is that supposed to be clever? Thanks for coming back, Pat OD. I know you're MAGA, but here's the thing. Welcome to church. I'm Rob. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, share it, do whatever, clip it. I don't fucking care. I'm not here for the likes. I'm here for the love. Pat, The reason you keep coming back is what I shared with my wife last night. I tell people, and if you don't believe, well, you'll never fucking ask her. But Pat, even in like school meetings, my wife will start kicking me and be like, shut the fuck up, because I go, I'm planting seeds. I go, there's one thing I know about humans and humanity is you can't unhear something. So once I've pointed out how fucking stupid Donald Trump is by saying, you know how I know she's a liar?
This reporter, no wonder CNN has no ratings because of people like you. You know, she's a young woman. I don't think I've ever seen you smile. I've known you for 10 years. I don't think I've ever seen a smile in your face. You know why? You know why you're not smiling? Because you know you're not telling the truth.
You know why you're not smiling? Because you're a liar. When I point out how stupid that is, you know, that children would be like, what? Usually liars are like giggling and smiling. So like that doesn't even make sense to kids because they're smarter than this fucking old turd. But when I point that out, I've planted a seed. Whether you water the seed is not up to me. It's not. But you can't unhear something. That's just science. You can't unhear it. So the reason Pat comes back every day, Waffle comes back every day, these MAGAs come back every day, is because I'm undoing the propaganda. I'm deprogramming them. They can't unhear this, so they have to come back. And then they have to try to, like, there's a battle for their soul right now. Most of their souls, like, defend these creep chomos that you've made your whole personality out of. And then there's this little thing. It's a little mustard seed I planted in them. Not in like an Epstein way, but I'm sure that might even be in the files. My Christ. Anyways, and there's a little seed that he can't unhear. He can't unhear that we've called that stupid on its face. We're not CNN, C-SPAN, whatever. We're not going to allow that to just fly out into the universe and not go, what the fuck did the president just say? You're a liar because you're not smiling? Really? Okay. And Pat has to come in and be like, you look like a narc in Detroit that does the drugs, you know? And he's like, but tell me, feed me more, feed my soul. I need to be rescued. So I'm planting seeds, Pat. It's up to you to water them, buddy. The rest of the day, you can water it or you can ignore it, but it's not going away. You can't unhear this shit, okay? Can I request a Bible verse? Which one? Like, oh, let's chuckle back. Good on you, Rob. Oh, thank you, Shelvit. Why would anyone defend people like this? President Reagan, if that's not the question of the past 20 years, like if that's not the question, I don't know what is. Like I literally think about that a lot. I'm like, how? Like maybe you got the same charges? Maybe it's what I wish I could play William Eilish's Birds of a Feather. I really wish, because I think that song teaches us so much. Leviticus 19:33. All right. I don't really like Leviticus, but... Ooh, 19 pulls up right away. What are we doing at 19? What did you say? 33? Okay, here we go. Leviticus 19:33. I don't want the New International Version. I hate that shit. We'll do the good word. I like the good word. Good news. We'll do the good news translation. Leviticus 19:33. Do not mistreat foreigners who are living in your land. Treat them as you would an Israelite, and love them as you love yourself. That's funny. They say treat them as you would an Israelite. If you know the temperature in the room of right now, if you know the temperature of America right now, it's funny that they say treat them like an Israelite. You know what I mean? Because that would let me break it down here. Welcome to church. I'm your ordained Reverend Rob. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. You're all welcome here. I don't give a shit if you believe in Christ or not. And let him get mad. Let me deal with that in the afterlife. That's the bullet I'm willing to take for you guys. Okay? And Jesus is like, I didn't like that you were saying, I don't care if they care about me or not. I'd be like, Jesus, stop being so soft, man. I was just doing what you said. I was fucking loving everybody, man. I ain't here to judge nobody except for MAGA and the people in power that are oppressing people. I take straight from when he went to the fucking den of thieves that were the capitalists selling doves and all that shit in his father's house, and he chased them out. He took off his belt, and they were like, dude doesn't even wear a belt. He's like, that's where I take it from. But how funny is it? He says, not him, but this verse says, do not mistreat foreigners who are living in your land. Treat them as you would an Israelite, and love them as you love yourselves. Remember that you were once foreigners in the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. So this is like pre-Jesus when God's saying it. But God is him, Holy Trinity, magic of it all mixed together. When you think about that, what that means is treat the immigrant like you would an Israeli. Give them universal health care and fund them. Create an Iron Dome for them? What are we supposed to do? I don't know. Are we supposed to treat them like we treat Israel now? This is so confusing. How do we break this down? Could Joel Osteen please be summoned? Poof, he comes from hell. Thank you for that, Large Taco. Thank you. Aloha, kitty. Where's kitty? Aloha, kitty. Aloha, kitty. Oh, that's her name. I thought you were saying aloha. I'm such a fucking moron. I thought you were saying aloha, kitty. That's her name. Or his name. I don't mean to mispronounce anyone. Remember, we're online, so it's tough for me. Just like I will mispronounce shit like 88 infinity. I was like 88YP8. Like a dummy. And listen, another thing for MAGA to understand, like, it's okay to be a dummy. We're all dummies. We're all dummies just trying to figure out this world, you know, trying not to not retire like Dr. Oz is begging us to. So he could just make a little more of that sweet green paper that's all made up. Fucking, you met Johnny Cash? Get the fuck out of here. My mom was in love with Johnny Cash, and I took her to see a concert. No one was getting back to get a signature from him, and I bought my mom a picture. She liked it. You got him to sign it? That's so cool. I like Johnny Cash's God's Gonna Cut You Down when he did those albums before he died. Joe Rogan has mentioned the files. Has Joe Rogan? Yeah, he's mentioned the files when, like, asking the people in the files, like, how they met him. You know what I mean? Like, he's not mentioning he asked Cash App Patel. He's like, so what's going on? This is kind of weird. Pam Blondie saying she has all the files, doesn't have all the files. And Cash App is like, listen, dude, if I had the files, I'd be sharing it with you. And Joe's like, well, you heard it there first, folks. That's the government telling you, but they've cleared themselves. You know, like, that's how he's mentioned the files. That's why he's a pox on society, specifically young men. If you know a young man affected by the Joe Rogan experience, also known as ED, reach out to them. Just let them know that they're good being themselves, that they should develop a personality outside of Fortnite. And maybe that person should go outside into the sun once in a while, not just sit at home doing push-ups, blaming the world for women not liking them when they don't have any kind of personality besides what Joe Rogan and Donald Trump tell them. That's my public service announcement for today. Okay, that is what it is. Hold on. I wasn't ready for that, so just give me 1 second. That was my public service announcement, and I need to play this at the end of every public service announcement for my elder millennials and Gen X kids. You may know somebody affected by ED or Joe Roganitis. Has your friend stopped going to the doctor and started calling the local horse doctor? They might be affected by Joe Rogan. Have they started thinking that saunas can get rid of germs? They might be affected by Joe Rogan. Have they thought putting a mask on to protect your face during a worldwide pandemic, but not when you're hiding your identity from the public citizens that you're oppressing? A bad thing? Your friend might be affected by Joe Rogan. Many have been. I feel like, you know, the lymphoma cases, or like the asbestos, or like the cigarette cases, or, you know, those okay, I gotta explain this to young people. We used to watch this thing called TV, and you couldn't, like, TiVo through the commercials, so you'd have to watch the commercials. If you ever stayed home sick from school, a commercial would come on, and you'd have to watch it. And it would be like, did you have asbestos in your school in 1972? If so, call us. We got a class action lawsuit. Class action lawsuits hardly even exist anymore. But, and you would, you know, if you were affected, you could be entitled to money too. And those were ads we used to watch. And I feel like once us leftists take over and we reestablish wholesome TV, and we do some kind of virtual Mr. Rogers or something. I don't know what we're going to do. But we're going to probably have class action lawsuits against Joe Rogan where it sounds like that. You know, did you listen to a podcast in the mid 2020s where they were telling you to trust a veterinarian and not a doctor? Well, call us now. You could be part of the Joe Rogan class action lawsuit. I mean, that sounds feasible. Seize all of the billionaires' shit. They're so irresponsible. Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with mesothelioma? That's it. 16 tones. You are my age. Thank you. That is one of them. 16 tones knows it. Do you think you're going to be able to control the First Amendment? Well, Donald Trump already has eradicated, so who cares? You know? There's no rule of law anymore. Is everybody still operating under the pretext of like, oh, we have a constitution? That is gone. They used a fucking Canva fucking warrant to kick in people's doors. I'm sorry. An injury to one is an injury to all. Once one person's constitutional rights are violated, they don't exist. So I'm sorry. Are you still operating under the guise of like, ooh, we have a constitution? No, Donald Trump went zip, 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 wipe. Nope. I don't know. That's not my thought. That's just what they're doing. I hate to be the one to break that to you guys. I really do. Because it sucks. But, you know, it's just the truth. You don't violate those rights, not absolve yourself of the crime, or as J.D. Vance said, have absolute immunity, and then pretend like there's some rule of law. You don't. You just don't. Donald Trump's toilet paper is constitutional print. Yeah, you're right on that. Patriot Act got rid of those. Yeah, well, the Patriot Act helped erode them. It helped set this up. I mean, that's not how it works at all. I've got 52,000 settlement for having my constitutional rights violated, but it doesn't mean that they don't exist. Recently? Or are you talking about, you know, before fascism? Before the fascism took a hold? I don't know if you're not paying attention, but they're putting loyalists in every position. That means, so how do I explain this? So a loyalist doesn't recognize right or wrong or law. They're loyal to one person. So whatever that's why Letitia James Comey, that's why all these people were vengefully indicted. So I think that's great that you got a settlement, and I think people should. I'm just saying that's not happening anymore. Prove me wrong. This is one place I would love to be proven wrong. I think people are due money. I think, especially the families that have been affected. I think the people that have been kidnapped. I think anybody who's been fucked with by ICE are due more than money. But we should see tradition brought back. Let's just say if I was a Jacobin and I loved the French Revolution, and then I said, bring back tradition, you know, loose associations, stuff like that, you know, that's it. And I think that's a moderate position. Wait, what did Jessica say? I'm very invested in Tia. I'm so invested in Tia and Jessica's side conversations because I know how that goes. Also, sorry for capitalizing his name. That's okay. We forgive here. We believe in forgiveness, except with MAGA, you know. And my apologies to everybody else in the live stream. I'm just so invested that Tia and Jessica know each other and they have these side conversations. And this is probably why I'm not a big YouTuber, because when I saw Dusty in Sam Cedar's show, he didn't stop and giggle. He didn't care. He was professional, you know? I told you, I worked next to him in radio like 20-something years ago. Like, he's a newsman. And I'm kind of into the little things, you know? Like, that is joy to me. That is joy to me. Still acting weird, kid. Always keep it fucking weird. Thank you. I don't know if you meant that as an insult, but being weird is one of the greatest things about being humans. Like, I think sneezes smell like old bananas, so I hate when people sneeze. Like, if you sneeze around me more than twice, we're gonna have fucking issues. And that's weird. That is weird. I've been called weird on the radio. The city of San Diego knows that if you sneeze 3 times around me, I'm fucking leaving the room, or I'm asking you to leave the room, because something's wrong with you. After 3, it's like, Jesus Christ, you're gonna blow your nose out? And what is a sneeze? So Nathan, thank you. I love being weird. Don't conform. Tough guy. Yeah, absolutely. I'm the toughest guy. If you sneeze around me, I shudder. That is nails tough. I love being weird. Authoritarians hate it. That's the thing, Dusty. That you nailed it. You nailed it. These conformists see any kind of diversity as a threat to themselves because they don't feel like they can express themselves. It's like when my cat. Oh, I should go get my cats. Uh, don't worry, really tough guys. I got a dog too. I know guys are always like, don't trust a guy with a cat. What about with a cat and a dog? And the cats and the dogs get along. What about that? And the cats sometimes act like dogs. What about that? Does that mind fuck you? You know? Is that going to be the next thing? Keep dogs and cats at their own genders. That's the pressing issue of today. But Dusty, you nailed it. It threatens their security of what they know to be what they've been taught, and that's all they're allowed to think. And then they see if any creativity in anyone, and they're totally threatened. Like, people will be like, oh my God, look at his hair. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, have you lived in a bubble your whole life? What the fuck is wrong with you? Express yourself, man. You know, my hair has been so many different colors, so many different lengths, and none of it defined me. And I'm not worried about it. You shouldn't be either. If house cats were any bigger, you couldn't turn your back on them. Zen, I'm so glad you said that because I had a big issue with that a long time ago. I said if they were just a couple feet bigger, we could not tame them. You know, and then someone pointed out, well, there are mountain lions and bobcats and shit. And I was like, oh, yeah. Okay. I cut my COVID hair. Grow it back. Cats can make like 1,000 different noises, but dogs can only make like 13. Not only that, but you never seen a cat sniffing your luggage at the airport, right? I know my cats ain't gonna snitch. Jessica and Aloha Kitty. I fucking love that this is going on. Jessica and Aloha Kitty, please hit subscribe and the notification bell. And I know Tia did, because I want you guys to have your own show within my show. You're never making it to the big times, Rob. You're never making it there. But it doesn't matter. I'm seeing community and the unity in community, and that's why I do this. Dogs sniff my luggage all the time. God, I've been subscribed to your show. I just don't talk in your chat really. Well, I'm glad you did because it's making my heart overflow seeing friends connect. The cat cafe. I wonder if communism can allow for a cat cafe. Of course it can. Of course it can. Joe Rogan, the only podcaster that brings multi-billionaires on, and they're just normal people, man. The original clap. They're just, listen, man, it's like the audio I was playing of, what the fuck's this guy's name? Kevin O'Leary. Remember, this is a guy who prides himself on like being richer than you. Like Kevin, Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, his whole premise is I'm so rich, you come to me and I give you money. I am not the common man, even though he dressed like a goddamn limo driver. He dresses like the guy who opens the door for the limo driver. I wish I had a photo for you. I'm sorry. But so I'm going to play this audio for you again. But just remember, this guy, his whole fucking personality is, I'm so rich, you come to me and maybe I give you money and maybe I tell you no. And he's going to tell us.
The average person at the kitchen table is not worrying about Epstein.
What the fuck did you just say? He's going to pawn off like he knows what the average person is. His whole fucking personality. This is what I don't get about some people. Not everybody, because I know a lot of you get this. And if you did, hit subscribe, notification bell, join the Vanguard, join the church. You don't have to be anything. I'm just an ordained reverend, and nobody can interrupt our mass. While we're having mass, you cannot interrupt. That's why they arrested Don Lemon. That's why this is now church. And this, I do have a church, the Church of Radical Communion. Welcome. Everybody's welcome. I don't care if you're Wiccan, atheist, agnostic, Protestant, evangelicals, sketchy on you. Church of Christ, the Latter-day Saints, You motherfuckers come knock on my window when I've been sitting in the car, and I tell you, I do not like how you treat women, and fucking change that, or I will join up and I will fucking organize your whole religion against you. The Mormons, I don't really like them, but you know what? Everybody can hear the good word of Jesus, who said, love your neighbor, no asterisk. But who the fuck in their right mind is like, oh yeah, you know, honey, come down here. The really rich guy who does the show where he offers poor people money, he's telling us what the average person cares about. I love this. I love being told what I think. This is the mainstream media and Joe Rogan. That's why I'm doing this again, because was it, hold on, I want to get it correct. The original Clapper pointed out, Joe Rogan's whole podcast over the past, I don't know, year has consisted of people in the Epstein files coming on to just talk about how normal working class people they are, while talking about hanging out with Jeff Epstein, the most Mossad wealthy person that did not play by any rules in the history of Earth. And somehow this is pawned off as like, oh yeah, duh. It's just like the kid. This is why I play this shit for you, because I'm like, if you heard that and we're like, yeah, duh, no one's caring about that. Listen to the rich guy who won't lend us money because our idea isn't good enough. This is a farce of a fucking society. And I'm glad for the people who have hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, who've joined us, because you see through this bullshit. And I'm not going to use that goddamn Andrew Tate fucking Matrix talk, but, you know, like you see through it. Am I the guy from Survivor? No. Do you know Troll Slayer? Who's Troll Slayer? I don't know if I know Troll Slayer. Introduce him. Working class supports Trump. You fucking dummy. Actually, I'm not even going to put you in timeout. Boo that man. We look out for neighbors here. It's the American ideal, 100%. It's not only the... Wait, where did I go? Sorry. It's not only the American ideal, and I hate to do this to you, but I love Jesus. You don't have to. I'll deal with Jesus whenever. I will deal with him, okay? You let me deal with him. But even Jesus said that. No one has greater love than to lay down his life for his own friends. If you see the red, that's Jesus talking. Joel Osteen, you fraud. So yeah, it's not only American, but, you know, all these people who are claiming in the name of Christ, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it totally wrong. I hope, you know, you didn't know until now, and I'm the first time you looked in the Bible and saw Jesus' words. So just to reiterate that. It's like when Joe Rogan had the CIA guy on his show last year talking about, oh yeah, the CIA doesn't do blackmail. It's not our thing. Christopher, that's so true, because he's had that guy on multiple times. And the funniest thing is not to even watch the show, but go read the comments. Go read the Joe Grum comments, the Polio Rogan comments, because these people are like, enough with the propaganda. They're like, come on, Joe. Like, fuck, dude. We get it. CIA does nothing wrong, you know? It's so funny, because even if you read poorly, like Carlin said, you know better. Amen. Yes, thank you. Jesus all the way. I'm grateful for you. Just came upon you. Our Father is Lord is the only way. I don't know if he's the only way. You know, I know he says that, but listen, I just have a hard time believing any cat is going to hell. You know, I just can't believe that. I believe Jesus got us off the bar for everybody except for MAGA and Epstein. He's burning in hell. We know that. But again, my opinion. It's just my, you know, I don't make the laws. Donald Trump does. We're fucked. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, the life. I know what he said. I know. I don't know how controversial I want to get on your ass. But he was also a dude who said, just love people. And my belief is anybody who could genuinely live a life of just not asking people's religion, just being like, you know what? And that's what modern day people forget. They forget Jesus wasn't going around being like, you Christian? You believe in me? You know, he wasn't. The people that did show that belief, that touched his robe and were healed, and he said, the belief of you, oh, fuck, you know? Like, yeah, that's a different kind of love and devotion. But I don't know. I find it hard to believe that someone who could promote love all their life would, you know, turn their back on, let me put it like this, turn their back on anyone who wasn't malicious. Because I think that's the key divider between people. Some people are malicious. But who knows? This is just theory, you know? And that's the whole mystery of faith. We don't know. That's the wrong dude. Read the New Testament. Who's the wrong dude? Where'd he go? Trump and Epstein at Lucifer's Spar-a-Lago. Del Fuego Eternal. Can somebody draw that? Matthew 10:34. All right, I'll do it. Let's get to Matthew. What did he say? 34. Not peace, but a sword. Do not think that I have come to bring peace to the world. No, I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. Hold on. Read the full chapter. God damn it, I hit the wrong button. What did you say, 10:34? Do not think that I have come to bring peace to this world. No, I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. I came to set the sons against their fathers, daughters against their mothers, daughters against their... Yeah, I know all this. Those who love their father or mother more than me are not fit to be my disciples. Those who love their son or daughter are not fit to be my disciples. Those who do not take up their cross and follow my steps are not fit to be my disciples. Okay, I understand. Do you know what he's saying? Do you know what taking up his cross is? Does anybody know what taking up his cross is? Again, I will just fucking cite. He said, love everybody. So taking up the cross does not mean that, you know, you're only worshiping Jesus and ignoring everything else and you're just like, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. The way you worshiped him was loving everyone. This is where people, I think, get lost in shit, where they literally take his words of like, oh, the sword, he's a weapons man, he's a Second Amendment guy. No. Taking up his cross means you're living as he did. You're chasing out the money changers. You're loving everybody, forgiving those. That's taking up the cross, man. That was the whole reason he got on the cross. I know it's... Listen, I'm not your typical ordained reverend. I understand that. The Catholic Church didn't want me. A bunch of other places didn't like me. But let them sort it out with Jesus. If Jesus doesn't like that I'm saying, Jesus said to love everybody, no asterisk, I'll deal with that. I got no problems. That's why I show my face and say this shit. You cannot serve two masters. Oh, Sassimo, good to see you. Good to see you. He got on the cross for sin out of the Father's will. But why? But why? What did he do during his life that made him so remarkable? What did he do that the religious leaders weren't doing at the time? Anybody? Was he telling people, I know you've been told to just love people who love you, but don't the tax collectors do that? Don't the fucking tax collectors, who you guys despise, by the way, don't they even love people who love them back? He said, but I am here to tell you to love your enemy. They ask you to walk 1 mile, you go 2. They ask for your shirt, give them your coat. Be nice to them. It will be like pouring hot coals over them. That's why. Because the sin at the time was people were shitty to each other. The sin was the fucking religious leaders and the authorities at the time were oppressing people. They weren't giving people healthcare. They weren't feeding the homeless. And Jesus said, I'm going to do all that shit. And I'm not going to check work requirements or copays or insurance. Again, I know what you guys are saying. I really do. But I'm just trying to give you my radical, woke, leftist interpretation of what Jesus did while he walked around. because that's the only thing you need to fucking care about. This cross don't mean dick. Sorry, God, for saying dick. I know there's people in the Epstein files, but you're worried about my language. Fucking fuck. You don't wear a cross like this to commemorate him being murked by the state. It's to remember to fucking love people. Jesus was a hippie by every standard. Thank you, Dusty. He wore fucking moccasins and a dress. Oh man, people would be mad if they knew he wasn't wearing a fucking suit. Could you imagine Jesus going to the White House with Zelensky, JD Vance, and all them cowards being like, oh, Jesus didn't even wear a suit. Look at his flip-flops. Whoa, fuck, what are you, peeing in the shower, dude? You know? I don't know. I'm not religious, but Jesus is cool. And Kat, I love you for that. And your name. And that's my whole point. You ain't got to be religious. You ain't got to. I'm not telling you to believe what I believe. I'm telling you what I believe and why I fight for the things I fight for. And that's it. I really want to make that distinction because everyone is welcome here. Except for MAGA, unless you're trying to get a seed planted. A little mustard seed. All right, guys. Holy Christ, we've gone so long. Let's play a little Bunkbed Coffin before we get out of here. How about that? How about that? How about that? Man-made gods won't save you, fool. That's where you're wrong. I'm not trying to get saved. Not what I'm doing. I'm trying to fight for a better tomorrow. Okay? Pay attention. God damn. Stop talking during church. Pay attention. This is Bunkbed Coffin. We are judge and witness. Oh, now we go to blasphemy. Listen, my favorite thing was fucking Tupac saying, only God can judge me. So you humans can say what you want, but it's up to me and God. Here's Bunkbed Coffin. Smells like Bunky. This is Bunky's version. I gotta read some comments. Good point, John. The Clinton dress, that is hilarious. I like my politics neat. I'll take my religion with the side of superstition. That sounds like a lyric. Christians are nice to be around when you're not fundamentalist about banning everything you know and left for their interpretation of teachings. They're told to believe by their parents out of fear. Yep. I just want to point out something, because when people like Nick say submit to Christ and his church is where 2 or more people gather, not a building, not a fucking stained glass. I really need to be clear on this because people get so lost in going to a church. That's not true. And submitting to Christ means love one another. This is Bunkbed Coffin. Link in the description. Go subscribe to him. I love Bunky. Thank you, Bunky, for letting us use your music. Thank you. That was brilliantly said. They don't read the Bible, so they wouldn't know. They just go there to use it as a shield. I say it's a billy club for them, not even a shield. They are on the offensive. You're in church right now, Nick. There's at least 2 reverends. Large Taco, I love you. It's a cover always. Ooh, PC Lovecraft. Whatsoever you do the least of my brother, that you do to me. We talked about that the other day. His home is your soul. Keep it clean. How do you keep it clean? Love one another. Forgive. Admit when you're wrong. Don't tell people they're lying because they're not smiling. Do I have refreshments? I'm sorry. Ryan goes, do you have refreshments? And now I feel obligated to bring refreshments. I don't know how I get them to you, but it's a good point. Testify. Excellent song. PC Lovecraft. Everything that's fun is a sin, so it's pretty awful. I reject that notion. Have you ever given a loved one a hug when they're having a bad day? And that cheered them up? That's fun as shit. And if you haven't done it, go be somebody's, what would you call it? Go be somebody's joy. I witnessed my daughter at the store the other day. I'll tell this personal story. I don't like telling personal stories. But I never like to use the AI robot cash register machines until they start letting the other people have enough money to live. So I like to talk to people too. So we go to check out in line. And I'm like, how I am? The girl, mumbles something. And I'm like, I know, everybody's underpaid, overworked, sucks. And my daughter goes, you have beautiful eyes. You look like Bambi. And she goes, are you crazy? And I started laughing. I was like, is she crazy? Yeah, she fucking nuts. Like just breaking balls like I do. And the girl almost started crying. She's like, I've been having such an awful day. Like, are you serious? And my daughter's like, yeah, just being kind, just no other reason. My daughter just thought she had beautiful eyes. And it changed. She was like, you just changed my whole day. Like, I was just having a horrible day. And if that's a sin, I don't want to be fucking a saint. Because that was the most proud moment as a dad. It was the most amazing thing to witness as a human. So I just have to reject that notion. And I don't like to share personal stuff, but shit like that it's hard to put a price on it. I would say 2 egg. Thank you, Stephanie, for the floating heart. Jesus is AI, a loose Toe Rogan quote. My friend painted that. That was Bunkbed Coffin. Smells like Bunky. Go subscribe to him. Go listen to Sheila Zolnoor and all the links of things that we talked about besides the audio, but the reading, if you do that. I know it's a lost ancient art here in America, but if you read, links in the description. Join our Discord if you want to support the channel. The greatest thing would be if you hit subscribe, share it with a friend, hit the like button. I don't know. Are there more things? Algorithm it? I don't know. I don't do it for the likes. I do it for the love. I'm here in church. And blessing the hell out of you. I love that. We should start that. That should be a thing. I'm so grateful to all my mods. Tia, Zen, Dusty. Are you fucking kidding? Bandito. Hold on. Large Taco, by the way. Original Clapper. Nick. You can say keep ignoring things, but Nick, Jesus told me to love you, man. 16 tones. I'm so happy you guys are here, Ryan. But I just need to take a minute because Smooth Bandito, I was worried about you. I almost wrote you on Discord because I was like, I haven't heard from Smooth Bandito. And I know this is not typical. Maybe I have a parasocial relationship with my audience, but it's good to hear from you. I hope you're okay. I hope all is well, as best as you can be doing in these fashy times. But I was thinking about you, and it's just so good to fucking see you. I just want to take a minute and just tell you, it's so good to see you. You've been on my mind, and I maybe manifested you into this live tonight, Bandito. I might have done that. Tia, that's so sweet. Honestly, most of the time I'm having a horrible time. Every time I'm going to a medical facility, it matters to do that. Oh no, I missed what Tia was saying. Someone's yelling at a cashier. I always buy them their favorite candy bar. Oh, that's cool. That's cool as shit. Stay dangerous. Listen, thinking is dangerous, Zen. You know that, so I'll always stay dangerous. Dude, I love Sheila with a passion. Yes, yes. Sheila is so amazing. Go follow her everywhere. PC Lovecraft. I live in Oklahoma where it's the Bible Belt, so hit and miss with everything. Oh, shit. PC, listen. When I make fun of Oklahoma, it's not you specifically. I make fun of it because it's one of the only red states that voted red like the whole time. So I know there are good people there. I just do broad generalizations to make examples, yada, yada, yada. But that's cool to hear and stay strong in that state. Always tell the nurse they have pretty eyes. Turns their day around. 100%. That's rad. You guys are amazing. Oklahoma. Okay, that's a funny pun. That's a funny pun. I'll take that. It's not hateful. It's just a funny play on words. I heard Vosh say he'd prefer Vance over Newsom. I just wouldn't listen to poison like Vosh. You know, who's that other dude? Sex Pestany? I wouldn't listen to those people. Those are not good people. I'm just telling you as a vibe coach, not as an ordained reverend. Let me take that hat off, put on the vibe coach hat. Those are filthy people, scummy. So he doesn't have your best interest to take. I would say we need a tribunal for president, maybe 3 people, a Bernie, Mamdani, Graham Plattner type of thing. We need a couple females in there, 1 indigenous member, definitely some more diversity, and it should no longer be 1 person because they are not to be trusted. Anyways, Duffy, what's up? Good to see you. But Bandito, I'm very happy to see you. Robbie's talking about my comment saying that when having blood drawn, pressure check, tell the nurse they're having pretty eyes. And listen, nurses are so overworked and underpaid. We need socialists. Yes, we do. We need socialism. If you're scared of socialism, you're scared of yourself. Fred Hampton. I'm going to hit you up on Discord. Get you up to speed. Good to see you. Yeah, please do. Check in. I love checking with you guys on Discord. Tomorrow I'll be on Discord. I promise, because there's people I need to check in with. Nick, we don't do live calls. Carry on. I love the people that are like, he won't debate me. Oh, shut up. Listen, clip my shit and go make your own YouTube video. Show your face and say your own beliefs. Nobody's stopping you. I'm not the gatekeeper of YouTube. I'm a small channel. My Christ. Capitalism needs some socialism, except for those wealthy welfare queens. All right, guys, I have to go. But I love you all, okay? Keep doing the good work. Thinking. It's a lost art in America. Thank you for attending church tonight. I bless the hell out of you. Go on and love people, all right? Nick, I am scared, but not of you, of sneezes. They're disgusting, and they smell like old bananas.